You'll notice there's a new name coming up here on the Google Earth. Up here in the upper right, almost there, B.H. Ringer. Brand new today on Google Earth. If anyone else wants to be added to Google Earth, just send me an email, DougBetts at LiveWindowsTraining.com, and with your location and how you want to be identified. If you're a regular person in our chat room, then I'd love to add you. One and zero. There we are. Countdown is done. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Yeah, it's still morning here in California, 11 a.m. And wow, you guys are just overwhelming me. Ida Rivera comes in first to bat with a $5 donation. That was what, 9:27 a.m. It's 11 a.m. now. A bunch of you are becoming pretty regular with being early into the chat room. Here's my watch going down on the desk. Some people don't know what that means. Some people do. We'll get to the rest of that in a moment, because also I'm going to say a thank you to Tony Wallow for a $49.99 donation, and then Blackwatch coming in with what he says is the Canadian equivalent at $4.99 Canadian, and actually he's saying that the Canadian dollar is worth a whole lot more than the US dollar. So I don't see anybody hitting me that has hit me up in orange in the chat. So I'm not going to go catch up with all the chat, because you've been visiting with each other a whole bunch, and that's just awesome. AVDW chat. So if you'll let me know. Oh, DVR not working. Thank you. I have not done that yet. And I clicked on the wrong mouse there. Come over here to stream settings, enable DVR. So you'll probably have to refresh your browser for that to work. And let's see, total chat revenue showing $59.45. Thank you so much, people. That is awesome, and it is important for the survival of this portion of my business. It is part of my business. So then Jeff says, hurry up with your PayPal account. I've thought about it 3 times since our session yesterday, Jeff. It is on my mind. I don't think I'll be forgetting that, but it is not right. It's not set up yet. Or not that I can just say it off my top of my head. I think it's all there and functional. Then Gary says, audio, video, DVR working fine now. You're going to have to make sure that my guests' audio is working fine. I'm going to go ahead and unmute him and bring him up on screen. Whoops, that's the wrong key for me to press. There you are. So buttons. Blackwatch would say, press your buttons, Doug. There, that's the right button. Matthew Barnes, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
All right. Good to see somebody on the show that lowers the average age of my viewers. I think you are. No, well, yeah, you're probably younger than my daughter. She was on, but you're not younger than my 8-year-old grandson. I'm pretty sure of that.
No, I'm 21, so.
21, well, great. So you sent a email to me, and I put the basic text of it in the description of the video. So I'm going to go show people that. I'm going to give people in the chat room an opportunity to chime in about it, and perhaps even we might bring them in on Zoom. I don't know if we'll go that long with it. I'm going to pop over here to my computer number 2 and show what you find in the description. If you just scroll down below the video, Here's the description. So this is just a summary that I kind of made up to summarize it. Internet works for about 5 minutes, then it quits after installing the driver for the integrated network adapter. See below for more detail. So September 29th, just a few days ago, Matthew sent me an email. I've been watching your video since Carey Holzman recommended you. I admire your persistence and patience, and thank you for that comment. I have a problem that might be interesting for a show. I recently bought a new motherboard and CPU, Gigabyte Z490 AORUS Pro AX. After I did the upgrade, the system booted fine and I installed Windows. Once I had Windows installed, I noticed with an Ethernet cable plugged in, I was not getting an internet connection. You know what? I haven't asked yet. Is AVDW good? Yeah, Gary says guest sounds good. Thank you. I was late in checking for that. Let's zoom in here a little bit. I tried installing the Ethernet driver from the motherboard driver disk, and that did solve the problem at first, but after 5 minutes or so I lost the internet connection. I had a look on another computer for this problem, and it looks like it might be a common problem with Z490 motherboards. I did update the motherboard BIOS, but after that could not find a solution that actually worked. For now I have a USB to Ethernet adapter I plugged in, and that works fine. Since I have the workaround, the Ethernet port not working is not a big deal, but I think it would be interesting if you could find a solution. I definitely have what I think is going to be the solution in mind, but I don't know that for sure that I'm right. So I'm going to let the chat room chime in because they love to participate in troubleshooting and diagnostics, and I heard somebody chime in to the Zoom session. So we'll go check on that in a minute. And if anyone else wants to come into the Zoom session, it's the same credentials as the last 2 or 3 live streams that I did. And if you don't have that, send me an email, DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com, and I'll send you the link for coming into the Zoom session. I'm not publishing it on the chat room anymore because Zoom bombers are real. All right, so let's go catch up with some chat stuff here. Jeff says, hurry with your PayPal account. I caught that a little while ago, and I'm just going to be reading the things where you hit me up in orange. So if you want me to see something, hit me up in orange. You get a bigger percentage through PayPal? Yes, that's certainly true. I just added, let's see, Jeff, I just added a year, so I'm compensating for the younger viewers. You just added a year, so you're compensating. Okay, I think you're on the upper end. Am I doing that right? I think so. So I guess sounds good. You have to do Zoom today. Gary had his 33,000 staff working on his mic issues all night long. Okay, and we got a laugh emoji there. So I'm going to highlight that. We're back. And so punching back to Zoom. Do you have anything else to add, Matthew, from what you put on your email?
I don't think so. Apart from, I have tried after plugging in the external adapter. I did try the most up-to-date driver that Gigabyte had on their site, but just the same thing happened.
So the most up-to-date driver that Gigabyte had on their site for the Ethernet adapter?
That's right, yeah.
You did do that already. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that shoots the first idea down. Let's see. YouTuber Dude says mobile being bad. Wintermute firmware update tool for the Intel 225 network adapter on its motherboard at the Gigabyte support site. Did you run that? That's interesting. How do you respond to that? Were you aware?
I have the
that's not a driver.
Intel,
that's a firmware update for the network adapter.
I did see something about that, but the instructions, it wasn't on Gigabyte site. I think it was on Reddit, and the instructions weren't very clear, and I don't entirely trust people on Reddit, but
okay. Yeah, that's smart. We'd rather have those instructions from Gigabyte. And this is well, so we'll go take a look at that at the Gigabyte site. We'll need to get me connected to your computer. We don't have me connected yet. Coder 2 also agrees with that firmware update. That sounds like it makes a lot of sense. So my first choice was going to be, because you didn't mention in your email, was the Gigabyte driver for the network adapter. But you've already done that, right?
Yeah.
So
I actually
did
tried
that
it yesterday, so
yesterday? Okay, so it was after the email. So did that follow the same pattern where it worked for like 5 minutes and then quit?
basically, yeah, Google in this example would load, and I'd go around just surfing, and all of a sudden it would just stop, and the system icon for the network changes from the screen to the globe. So
Okay. Okay. Well, I think that's on our radar to do. And another thing about that is I'm suspecting that when it stops working, if you go look at Windows updates, you may find that Windows just installed a driver update for it. Had you looked at that?
I believe originally that's what happened, and I manually uninstalled it. Um,
Okay.
but then I think once it was connected again, it just kept trying to
Okay.
download that.
Okay.
But I believe that was the same version the Gigabyte site had.
Okay. So there's one more thing that's on my mind. I'm not going to present that yet because I'm going to give the chat room and the Zoom participants a chance to come up with that. Um, because it does work. The motherboard Ethernet port does work for a period of time. So this next solution I have in mind should deal with that. So let's go see. I'm going to go switch over to our Zoom session, and it looks like we got 3 people coming in. Now they might just be coming in to hang out, or they might be coming in because they have specific ideas about this. So we'll find out here. They're all 3 coming in now. It's about this. Okay, stop the sound on your YouTube. Whoever's playing it. Okay.
Hello.
Someone's got the YouTube running. I'm gonna mute Gary, and I'm still hearing it. I heard Darren say hello. Yeah, Darren, say hello again. Hello, Darren. No. Boy, I think I can even hear him breathing there. Darren, are you there? Nope. So I'm going to try muting Darren.
How's the audio?
Your audio is good, Ken.
Okay, good. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Ken.
All right. So Gary and Darren, you can unmute yourselves whenever you choose to say something, as long as you've got your YouTube muted or the sound sound turned off. Let's see. I got to switch back here, and let's get this picture-in-picture adjusted. Oh, I got to do that over here on this source. So this is going to look a little weird for a moment. And if our friend from yesterday is here, this is the part where I'm going to look like I don't know what I'm doing and that I'm confused. And I just will own that. Yeah, I made these adjustments yesterday, but I haven't owned that. I made these adjustments yesterday, but I haven't owned that. Somebody's still playing there. Gary, you still got your volume on your YouTube video playing. You can't open your microphone when you have your YouTube playing because it comes through as echo. Okay, there, that picture-in-picture is all done. So you're back with the chat room because somebody else has hit me up in orange. And that's right down here is using Intel's driver assistant. What do you say to that, Matthew?
Yeah, it was one of the first things I installed, thanks to Carrie's videos.
All right.
Um,
All right. And then let's see. ATEX, I had this happen before and I could only solve the issue by replacing the failing power supply. That's a surprising way to turn. YouTuber dude would love to join the Zoom, but mobile's being bad, no problem. All right. Now let's get me connected to your computer. How about that? Let's do this with, let's go with instant house call. I'm trying to keep up my familiarity with that. If you go to a website, go open a web browser and type in the address bar lwt.instanthousecall.com.
Presuming I click download.
Yep, you have a download and a run or install or something like that, and allow whatever. There's I think there's only 2 or 3. It seems like this instant house call is a quicker setup than LogMe and Rescue. The two programs have different upsides and downsides. So I just heard bleep noise on computer number 2. I click accept. And there we go. Oh, sweet. I like your taste in wallpaper. Now, what is that car? Matthew?
Couldn't quite reach the unmute button there. It's a Aston Martin DB5. I recently drove one of those on a track day experience, and I have to say I was pleasantly surprised. For a car from the 1960s, it's very well refined, fast, comfortable. It's really fun to drive, actually. Just a shame I can't afford one to own every day.
Yeah, a track experience, you called it.
Yeah. It's there's a company over here that basically goes to various racetracks in the country, and they do these events with a series of classic cars. And you can choose how many laps you do. By default, you get 3 laps, which in this case was 3 miles because the track's a mile a lap. And you can get, in my case, you could choose up to 3 cars. So there was this, a Jaguar E-Type, or as you Americans say, Jaguar, and an old Ford. So it was pretty cool.
Awesome. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and take us to the Gigabyte website. Let's start with looking at that firmware update. BW's in the room. Hello, Blackwatch.
Hello. What's his board again?
It's
Gigabyte Z390?
P94 Z490 AORUS Pro AX Gigabyte.
Is that an Intel board or an AMD?
It's Intel.
Well, I got the Pro Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that should be the one. It's got Wi-Fi built in.
So what's down, the Wi-Fi or the LAN? Which one?
The Ethernet.
Both are going out?
I haven't used the Wi-Fi on it, only the Ethernet.
No, I don't use the Wi-Fi either. It's not I'm just thinking, I don't think the Intel driver's assistant, it only does the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi. That's the only driver it gets off of this one.
Okay. Let's go ahead and move forward with this. We've got the Gigabyte driver page for this motherboard. Firmware update tool. Please download Windows firmware update tool, execute such and such, then your firmware version. So is this firmware tool for that? That doesn't say for the Ethernet adapter, right?
I mean, I just did a generic search there, but
Okay. Can you take us to the drivers for this motherboard?
oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do
Apologies.
that. Let's just see what's there.
I've never used that Gigabyte app, all this RGB and Fusion 2. I've never used any application from a Gigabyte site for that board.
Okay, Blackwatch. Slow down a little bit. Let's stay on track here.
One step at a time.
Yeah, we don't need to know what you've done and haven't done.
So this is the actual site for that particular motherboard.
All right. So yeah, got the name of the motherboard up here. Downloads, Windows 10 64-bit, audio drivers. We're in the auto driver section. I got the mouse here, although I don't seem to be able to get a response. Okay, so now down here we've got LAN. This looks like it should expand in the LAN section. I'm just getting very sluggish response, I think. Can you click right there where it says plus LAN? Does that expand?
Mine did.
There you go.
Yeah, I
But-
was looking back on the stream. It didn't update for a few seconds, but
Okay, is it responding quicker on your computer than it is?
yeah, it
the
was
stream.
instant, so it's probably a limitation of the internet bandwidth.
Actually,
guess.
I think it might be an impact of instant house call, because I have seen that instant house call seems to respond slower.
Instant house call.
I got somebody coming through with their YouTube video on again. Who is that? Gary, is that you? Yep, that was you. Gary, if you open your microphone, you gotta have your YouTube muted. Okay, so looking at what we got here. There's the Intel LAN driver. So you have, let's see, what are the different ones we have here? i225, Windows 10 20H2 supported. Okay, so what version of Windows 10 are you on?
I believe
Go ahead and show us.
it should be 21. Yeah, 21H1.
Yeah, 21H1. Okay, click OK to dismiss that. So, yeah, boy, that's sluggish. I'm probably going to switch over to Log Me and Rescue and see how that goes before too long. So this one is a more recent date than this one, and this one is specifically supporting 20H2. That kind of implies to me that this one was prior to 20H2. And then here's the firmware update tool, and you said you have not tried that yet. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And then here's a LAN driver that's even older. So you've already tried this one, and it lasts for a few minutes, and then it breaks again, right?
Yeah, I believe that was the 1.014 was the version that came with the driver disk.
Okay. And then you went straight to this one, and it behaved the same way. Okay, so how about let's have a look at...
I'm just wondering, before he goes into that, the BIOS version, did he check that?
The BIOS version for his motherboard?
Yeah.
And I believe he updated that to the most current already. Is that correct, Matthew?
Yeah, that's right. It's version F20, I believe, as of about a week ago.
Okay.
And it never worked. I'm sorry to throw it in. The original BIOS, it never worked. It never worked for the LAN.
Yeah, it was the same thing with as the new BIOS, same symptom.
It gave you the same symptoms. Okay. Okay. Just wondered.
Okay, so looking at the network adapters here, see what it tells us about the version. Looks like this one, no, this one up here. You have a USB.
Yeah, the top one's the USB
Is the
adapter.
USB. So this one would be the integrated controller. I did a right click. Waiting. Wow.
Yeah, it's already appeared on my screen, but
Yeah. Now I clicked on properties and I'm waiting there. Driver. Waiting. Ken, you're gonna have to start singing in the waiting times here.
I was actually going to go get the theme from Final Jeopardy and put it in.
Driver version 102.8.
I'm just curious. He didn't use the driver DVD when he built the machine.
He did. Have you read the description of the video, Blackwatch?
I'm
Because you're kind of re-asking the same questions that are already covered there.
No, I had a bit of trouble with the Zoom thing again. No, I didn't. I admit.
All right.
So, but he, just to interject for a moment, instead of going back and forth, he built the thing and he got the drivers off the DVD.
yeah, that's right.
Oh boy. You installed the drivers off the DVD before with Windows?
Well, then only the Ethernet driver, because there probably wasn't one on there, because when I plugged the Ethernet cable in, I didn't get any response.
No, but I'm just trying to follow, even if it's in the description, exactly what you did. You built the machine, put it together, loaded Windows, and then you used a DVD to get the drivers?
Just the Ethernet driver.
I don't understand why you did that, but okay. And you never use the DVDs, just a shout out to that. You never use get them online.
I couldn't get online, that's why I had to use the DVD.
Oh, okay, sorry, okay. One of those days. Okay, Doug, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Good one.
I'm guessing you didn't have a backup computer to go put it on a USB and move it over to your new machine.
It didn't occur to me, to be honest, but
Well, I'm going to disagree with Blackwatch. I think you loading the driver from the DVD that came with the motherboard is a reasonable thing to do. That's just that's Blackwatch's opinion. It's
No,
not written in
right.
stone.
You're right, Doug. I mean, if you got no other machine, you haven't got the internet, of course.
Yeah, right.
But if you got the choice, you always go to the site. If you
Certainly.
need it. If Windows won't do it, then
But once he got in Ethernet functional off of the driver that came with it, then he went to the manufacturer's website to get the updated driver from there. I can't see anything unreasonable about that.
Oh no. It's just if you have the internet, you never use a DVD today.
A date by 2 months.
Unless you have to.
Unless you have to. Yeah, you can use that as a stepping stone to get the most current, but don't do just the DVD and stay with that. You've got to go get the
All is
drivers.
at a date.
Say again, Darren?
All is at a date by a couple of months.
I I didn't quite hear all that. I heard something about a couple of months.
The CDs are always out of date by about 3 or
Oh
4
yeah,
months.
sure. The CDs are always out of date. As they get updated drivers, they're not going to press new CDs and repack them in the boxes. I expect the DVD that come in the box is just the starting point of their drivers. So, yeah, you could start with those if you need them in order to get connected. But if you can get connected to the internet, just go straight to the manufacturer's site. Don't even bother with the DVD. Only use it if you need to use it as a stepping stone to get there. But then if you need that stepping stone, that's okay to do it. I don't think you have to jump through a bunch of hoops to go find another computer and download the most current driver to a USB. I mean, you're kind of implying there that the DVD that comes from the manufacturer in the box, you think it's infected with malware or gonna damage something? It's not gonna be that bad.
Oh no, just
okay.
Places get it off the internet.
Yeah, it's always out of date. And so here let's move forward here. Driver version 102.8, and so this shows that he's got the most current here, and it has not been replaced by Windows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be seeing that version there. So is the Ethernet adapter, integrated Ethernet adapter, currently non-operative?
Well, if I was to plug the Ethernet cable into it, it would work briefly, but then after a couple of minutes, I'd just lose internet connection.
All right. And we're connected right now through Ethernet, but it's a USB connected adapter, this one up here.
That's right.
Okay. So you said you took a look at this firmware update tool, and the only place you had instructions for it came from a Reddit site, and you weren't very confident about that. So I'm looking here, there's nothing clickable except downloading it. So let's go ahead and download that and have a look and see what instructions come with it, if any. Website user cookies. Have you actually downloaded it yet?
I don't think so, no.
All right. So I clicked on download. All right, there we go. Do you have a particular folder you like to put drivers in?
No, downloads is perfectly fine.
All right. Motherboard driver Intel i225 firmware tool. Okay, and that doesn't identify itself as specifically for the Ethernet. And actually, this doesn't identify for the Ethernet, does it? Do you see anything about that says that? Oh, because we're in this we're in the LAN section. That's the only thing that identifies this as being for the Ethernet adapter.
Yeah, and I225, I think it is like the name of the
right. Okay, it's the model of
the Ethernet thing.
Perfect. Okay, good. All right, let's go into your downloads folder. You know what? I haven't looked at. Apologies, I haven't looked at chat for quite a while. Let's do that on computer 3. Let's see, can I do... That's tripod. Computer 3, drivers, Intel drivers, okay, so there's nothing else new there in orange. And people talking about the same things, it looks like. Yeah, Sangoat asking if the driver disk that came with it was pushing an antivirus trial on you.
Oh yeah, it was, but I
did.
somehow managed to avoid it. I mean,
All right.
Gigabyte has a thing on its drive. It says Express install, but that
Mhm.
implies it'll install everything, not just the driver you've selected.
All right. So I did a right click on that zip file and extracting all. This should extract to a subfolder. Unexpected error keeping you from copying the file. And the update that. Do you have an antivirus that's preventing a batch file coming from the internet?
I have Malwarebytes, but it should pop up if it's blocking something.
Yeah, I would think so. So I'm going to skip that batch file. We'll come back to that, see what it does. PS1, same thing here. And a text file, same thing. So it's just something's not happy. Let's bail on that and take a different approach. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Not really too interested in this folder because it probably doesn't have much in it. Take a quick look. This sluggishness is just driving me nuts. I'm sure you have good internet speed there, right?
Well, it's kind of funny. Technically, I'm on DSL, but it's a modern equivalent of DSL, so it's not, the 10 meg down, 1 meg up. It's
All right.
more like on average 80 down, 20 up. So
Oh, well, that's fine. That's fine. Let's see. Gary's coming back in. All right. So, right click on that. All right. Let's. This is so sluggish. Let's switch over to Log Me and Rescue.
Okay.
So I'm going to disconnect from this remote session. What's that media player? Did
I
this
don't
media player open on your computer or mine?
think on mine. I don't know how that happened, but
Huh.
Oh, good. My ghost had moved over to his machine.
That's right. That's right. This is just so sluggish. Okay, so I'm disconnecting and then I'm going to talk you through
okay.
getting me connected to Log Me and Rescue. Let's see. Wintermute says that files required for the update use 7-zip to unarchive. Are you telling me Windows 10 won't unarchive it? Or is it just your habit to use 7-zip for Wintermute? So, what you're going to do is go to the website logmein123.com. Tony Wallow with $4.99. Thank you again, Tony.
Yeah, but Tony, that's only US dollars. Raise it up to the good stuff, Canadian.
Canadian dollars, huh? Let's see. Where do I want to go here? Let's go this way.
Yeah. So it's asking for the
Six
six-digit code.
Okay. And the code is 171304.
Okay.
And I think this will be the best test I've had yet to see if there really is a speed difference between those two products.
Well, 2 days in a row, you've used it. 2 days in a row, it's been sluggish.
Yeah. All right, so
Just the bearer of good news.
yeah, here we're connected again. There's here's a AORUS. I'm using Alt Tab. This seems far more responsive. Windows key E to bring up Explorer. Kaboom! I got it right away. Click on Downloads right away. This is way better. So if I double click on a zip folder in Windows 10, it'll take me in to show me what the contents are. So boy, I'm just going, I have no hesitation at all, no delays whatsoever.
Hey, Doug,
Yes.
sounds a little bit better finally.
Oh, that's Gary.
Yeah.
That's Gary,
good.
and I don't hear the YouTube playing in the background.
Anyway, I got a couple of thoughts.
Yes.
Thought number one is, does he have Wi-Fi? I understand it's Ethernet, but see if the Wi-Fi goes past the time of the Ethernet.
So see if the Wi-Fi has the same problem of cutting out after a period of time.
Correct. I mean, it was a thought.
Okay, sure, reasonable. thought.
Number two, do we know what kind of Ethernet it is? Like, is it Intel, Realtek, or?
Well, it's the driver's listed as Intel i225. So
Most of the boards, this is a Z390. Most of the boards are Intel chips.
That is going to be their killer networking chip, I believe.
Yeah, it's. I had to look at. Long story short, they were putting fiber optics in. This chip will handle it. It'll handle right up to 1G.
Actually, it's 2.5G is what it is.
No, but the feed is only 1.6. You know, so
Take a look at the board. It's a 2.5 chip.
his
So if
might
you go
be
to
one-
Intel, you might get a better driver if you haven't done that already.
But with the Intel, and maybe I'm wrong, with the driver assistant, I only get the Bluetooth and the wireless. I don't
No.
get the LAN driver.
You want to go and get, it's a killer networking is the name of the actual driver.
Might be different on the fourth gen boards. I don't know.
No, go right to Intel.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm okay. I don't know about Matthew. Mine works fine.
okay, so here we've got that. I did use the 7-zip to extract those files. Windows would not extract that, so Wintermute's recommendation there appeared to be accurate. Here's the content of the batch file and what it's going to do for installing this. I don't see any complication to that. I'm inclined to just run that batch file as administrator and expect it to be able to update the firmware of the Ethernet adapter.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. I apologize.
No, go ahead.
What was the Ethernet card? The number of it?
The model number of the Ethernet card?
Correct.
Oh yeah, it's Intel something.
Okay, coming up, we'll do back on device manager.
AC90 something. AC.
Man, this is so much zippier. Oh, here.
I think it's got bulk smokes or something in it.
So you want a model number?
Like, I think it's going to be a 2500 or 2600.
So it's not this 1225-V?
12.
That's in the device description that comes from the device.
That is another one, yeah. There is a driver called, I'm on Intel right now, there is a driver called, if I can read, Killer Performance Suite.
Yeah.
And that is from August 17th, 2021.
Okay. Well, I'm
has-
inclined to start with what the motherboard manufacturer has provided for us to use.
No argument. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So if that doesn't work, then I think move on to what you're looking at there, Gary. However, another thing that's on my mind that I should put on the table is that this Ethernet adapter does work for a period of time after he freshly installs any of these drivers. Well, except for the one that was on the... No, Matthew, was it actually the one that came on the DVD also worked for a period of minutes?
Yeah, that's right. They all
Okay,
exhibit
they all work
the,
for a
the
period of
same
minutes.
symptoms.
So the thing that was on my mind was to, there's a way to tell Windows 10 to not update a driver for a particular device. Because it sounds to me like Windows 10 is updating what it thinks is the right driver, and that's breaking it. However, once I came in here and saw that the driver that's currently in here is not a Windows driver, I kind of, I'm not so convinced of that anymore. Does this in provider Intel Corporation? Oh, because the driver version number, since it was the same as what the motherboard support site has for it, that's why I was concluding that that is still that driver and it has not been replaced by Windows. So anyway, let's go get this thing rolling. So now, doing NVMe update.bad as administrator sounds irrelevant to me. I don't even know if it does show as administrator. Does it actually do anything running a batch file as administrator? I guess it might. Answering yes. Yep, administrator right, success administrator. Confirm. All right, somebody's got their YouTube video on again.
All right, somebody's got their YouTube video. All right.
It's Gary, because I saw his square highlighted. Let's see. Target version 1.45, current version 1.45. So it sounds like you already have the firmware version that is contained in this file. Everybody on the same page with that?
I read the description. Maybe I got it wrong. I'm assuming that this is a brand new RJ45 cable, right?
The cable.
The LAN cable.
No, I don't. We haven't been told that. I don't see why that would matter because it's working perfectly with the USB Ethernet adapter.
Is that the one, the Wi-Fi USB adapter?
We're not using Wi-Fi at all.
He's got a USB LAN adapter?
It's got a USB LAN adapter, Ethernet adapter.
Oh, okay.
So we're connected currently by a USB Ethernet adapter using the same Ethernet cable that was connected.
I thought he stuck in one of those wireless ones.
Nope.
That was confusing.
Nope.
Doug, what is the speed of that USB Ethernet adapter?
I don't know, but is that relevant to what we need to do to the integrated Ethernet adapter?
If it's hunting on the one built in, it might not if it's a 10100, if it's an older one.
Oh, well, okay, let's go look, but I don't see how that's going to be relevant to the integrated Ethernet.
Different speeds.
Yeah, but we're not complaining about its speed.
No, but it may keep trying and then it'll drop off.
When he's been having the problem with the integrated Ethernet, the USB Ethernet was not connected.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm saying, well, does he have the same problem with both? How's that question?
No, because we know that because we're connected right now through the USB Ethernet adapter, and the connection has remained solid.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Is the Ethernet discrete built in maybe the problem? If you're saying the USB is working right now.
Yes. And our objective is to get the internal Ethernet functional.
Understand and agree.
Okay. So what's your point?
My point is, first, I actually agree with Blackwatch. What is the speed of the cable? Is it a 5? I mean, excuse me. Is it 5, 5E, or 6? On USB, 5 may work. It may not work at the built-in.
Oh, you're saying the cable that's working with the USB Ethernet might not be adequate to work with the integrated Ethernet port?
Correct.
Huh.
So the USB is correct. It's working right now. We agree.
Yeah.
And the built-in is not working completely.
Yeah. And you're thinking possibly the cause of that is that the Ethernet cable is not up to the task of the integrated Ethernet port. It seems to me that if that were the case, the integrated Ethernet port would just slow down to deal with whatever cable is connected to it. I wouldn't expect it to stop functioning. But still, reasonable thought, reasonable question. So let's go look at a couple things. So this part here about the current version target, that's making us think that this firmware update was irrelevant. So for the, in regards to our current connection, let's go to the network, right click on the network icon in the notification area and then choose Open Network and Internet Settings. This is so much zippier than Instant House Call. Oh man. Now okay, so I said the two products have upsides and downsides, and yesterday with Ken I was able to display two computers on the screen at the same time, which I can't do with LogMe and Rescue. So then let's see, I think it's here. So we're connected with this USB device. If I right click on that and choose status, we'll see that we're running at 1 gigabits per second. Now it's not telling us about the cable. Matthew, if you look at your Ethernet cable, it should have lettering printed on it to indicate whether it's 5, 5E, 6.
Yeah, I mean, I could take a picture and show it on the screen.
I think it's sufficient for you to just look at it and tell us what it says.
Okay.
Yeah, while he's looking for that, I'm going to go back to, let's see, Device Manager.
Matthew could say, but I think the only thing on those boards now that are Realtek is the sound. Everything else is Intel.
All right. So Gary, you said you were at the Intel site in regards to the Ethernet adapter, right?
Correct.
Okay. So what does that tell you about the speed capabilities of this Ethernet port?
It is 2.5 gigabyte.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's certainly backward compatible. You couldn't. It'd have to be backward compatible for slower.
Well, I've had some 2.5s and they are backwards compatible. 100% agree.
Yeah.
But when they have slower cables by mistake,
Yeah.
they try to hunt. In other words, I'm going to go 2.5. Nope, can't do that because of the cable. And it keeps going back and forth until it drops off.
Oh, well, in that case, we should be able to just tell it to
Correct
take a certain
statement.
speed.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's see. That's over here somewheres. Speed and duplex. So instead of auto negotiation, we would want to take. Oh yeah. So here's confirmation of the 2.5. But gigabit is not a selection there. Oh, here it is. It's at the top. So this would be a quick, easy test to just make that change and see how it goes. Matthew, what's the markings on the Ethernet cable indicate?
It said Cat 5e.
5e. Okay. So that's not capable of 2.5 gigabytes. Am I correct, Gary?
You are, that it needs a 6.
Yeah. 2.5 would need a 6. So let's.
And 5e is 1,000. Which I know.
Yeah, gigabit, right? Okay, so here we're telling that Ethernet adapter to use 1 gigabit, so that would stop it from hunting.
Correct.
So it keeps trying to go faster, and as it's possible, I think you're just saying this is a possibility, is that it's when
Correct.
it's trying to negotiate a faster speed because it really wants to go fast and it can't, that perhaps Windows gives up on it and says, there's no internet there.
And that would drop him after 4, 5, 6 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. And maybe stay at the lower speed for that number of minutes. So here's going to be an interesting experiment. Not quite sure how this is going to work. Matthew, let's see, we're connected on Zoom through this computer, correct?
You want me to get Zoom on my phone and do
No,
it
that's okay. I don't think we'll have much of an interruption if we have any interruption.
Okay.
What I'm proposing to have you do... Well, now, wait a minute. Do you have a second Ethernet cable?
I don't, but
You don't. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. So what I'm proposing here is you'll disconnect the Ethernet from the USB adapter and plug it in to your integrated adapter. I think the Zoom and the remote connection might survive that. I don't think I've ever tested that.
Okay.
Because it's not, both of these connections are not reliant upon the IP address. Your computer might pick up a different IP address through that switch, but I don't think your local LAN IP address is involved with the Zoom communication or the remote connection. Yeah, so what we expect to happen is that this one's going to become disconnected and this one's going to come live.
okay.
Yeah, all right. So go ahead and try that. And then if you lose us, switch them back.
Did I cue the Jeopardy music?
Yeah. Looking over at chat, I don't see anybody hitting me up in orange, so I'm not going to read through.
Now, Chris and I have been talking about football, and as usual, Jim is late.
All right. I see 14 concurrent viewers. I just heard a blip, and Matthew's gone, but it still shows active up here.
Hey, Doug,
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
remember back in the good old days when you had 100 meg for the Ethernet?
When we had what?
100 meg.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember using coax. I remember using twisted
ring.
phone wire. What would bus topology and star
Token ring.
topology and Lantastic.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, and then IBM Token Ring.
I love those too. They had the big Y connectors, or not Y. It looked like a T.
Yes, the barrel connectors.
Yeah.
T barrel
Anyway.
connectors.
The question, not question, but the comment I was going to make is you and I probably went and put a 5 in, Cat 5, and that was only good to 100. And the minute you put what should have been a 5e, the minute you put that 5 in, they wouldn't work together.
Well, what I've seen is that if you have any element that's limits to the lower speed, then everything in the system's going to slow down to that
That's what I
speed.
meant, correct?
Yeah. Now with switches, it'll just be the devices that are involved in that communication. The other devices connected to other ports on the switch can run at higher speeds.
Right. I mean, I agree.
Just wondering, where is Matthew? He sounds,
UK.
yeah, he sounds UK.
Yeah.
I'm
All
just
right,
wondering-
so here I've got a remote control session button connecting. All right. So here it looks like he's gone back to the original USB connection. And
Is this an ISP modem supplied by the Verizon?
he said it's some kind of variation of a DSL connection.
But it's not provided by the ISP, or he bought it.
The modem? I don't know.
It's
why-
from the ISP.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
he's here. All right.
Yeah.
So you're back with Zoom. So you connected to the onboard Ethernet, and did it connect to the internet at all?
Briefly, it did, and Zoom looked like it was trying to connect, but it just sat there in a circle, and then the icon down here changed from what it is now to the globe.
Okay.
Did the cable come from the ISP as well, Matthew? Did it come with the modem?
Oh, the Ethernet cable I'm using now, I bought because it's a 20-meter cable, basically.
I just wonder because they often pack the cable with it, or they used to, and it's just a generic thing. You know, it one size doesn't fit all, if you know what I mean, as far as speeds and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just wondering.
Is anybody interested in disabling IP6?
What, IPv6?
Yeah.
They-
I just don't see how that's going to be an issue on this.
They don't use it here. I like I told you, I talked to tech people, and they're-
I agree with that. It's not used much of anywhere, and that's why I like to disable it. But
it's not. Like some of them I talked to, and I said, "You're running dynamic addressing." No, we're not. You get one that's knows what they're talking about. There's 15 or 16 addresses, you know. But IPv, they haven't used IPv4 up yet. The capability.
right.
The 6 is just.
Yeah, well, there's devices out there that have IP6 addresses, but I find when computers, I found some computers that when I do ipconfig/all, that they've actually taken on an IPv6 address and DNS. You're trying to use IPv6 for DNS, and it just does not work well.
No.
So I disable that, and then they're okay. But so that kind of makes me argue in my mind for doing this.
So I'm just wondering, you know, where he is as far as like in Canada, they're trying to promote. They're trying to pay the IP providers to go into remote areas. You know, they're
Yeah.
trying to promote that, but some are lucky to get dial-up. You know, it just so I don't know where Matthew is. I have no clue about, you know, the services provided in the UK.
Yeah. Are you in a rural area or a large city? What are you?
The outskirts of a large city.
And you said you're on some kind of version of DSL, so does that imply that you don't have quite as good service as what people might have in a city? But
Yeah, because they'd probably have their cable to their house available, whilst this, I believe it's cable to a box in the street, and then the rest of it's telephone lines to your house.
Okay. But you said something to the effect of 20 or 30 megabytes down and 8 or 10 up, I think you said.
80 down, 20 up.
80 megabytes down, 20 megabytes up. I mean, that's not going to be any problem. Okay, so we restricted the speed of that adapter to 1 gigabit, and I was going back in here to confirm that change stuck. I'm going through it here from the network connections rather than through device manager, but we should get the same thing. Speed and duplex. Yeah, so that change stuck. Power management. Allow the computer to turn this device off. So this is not a laptop. It's This is a tower computer plugged in to power. I can't imagine that being an issue. I would remove this check mark on a laptop in a heartbeat. But of course, that's not. Your computer should never be trying to turn that device off. So that removing that check mark should be irrelevant. What else had we speculated on doing that we haven't got to yet? Oh, inhibiting that driver. Now, you said, Matthew, that when you moved the wire over to the Ethernet, it looked like it was connecting, and you did have the computer monitor in the notification area indicating it was connecting, but then it switched back to the wireframe globe and no connection, right?
Yeah, that's right. After about maybe 20, 30 seconds.
Not long at all. Let's see. So I'm looking over it. I do see somebody hit me in orange. Chris Garrett. Didn't network use to use BNC? Yes, we use BNC connectors on an RG62 coax cable. Not sure what it was called with networking, but with radios, it's BNC. I see old Ethernet cards with BNC connectors. Yeah. Yep, we did that. And Gary and I'm sure Blackwatch and maybe Darren experienced that. Yeah, and I actually put the connectors on the cable.
It shouldn't be an issue. I'm just wondering what version of Windows 10 it is. Just curious.
Yeah, he showed us that a little while ago. I think maybe you weren't here yet.
No.
What version was it, Matthew?
It was 21H1.
All right.
No, I mean it's home, not Pro.
Oh, this is I believe it's Pro.
Go ahead and check. I don't recall this. I don't recall noticing that.
Because Pro's got a lot more networking, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's Pro. Well, yeah, but that's just for domain servers.
No, it's beside the point. I know, but I missed it in the description.
Yeah. Now that part about preventing Windows from doing something, let's go look. Let's see if Event Viewer gives us any clue. It would have helped if I really nailed down what time that was that we switched to the other adapter. I'm going to force this to resort because Windows doesn't always sort this column correctly. February 10th. There. Oh, not February 10th. So that's September 25th. And October 2nd, 1958. So 7:58. So you are... That's about when we did that. DNS name resolution. Ethernet controller network link is disconnected. Then going older, name resolution, Ethernet network link has been established, 1 gigabytes per second. So I think that's when you connected, yeah, because we see the controller number there. So that's when you connected to the onboard Ethernet. Everyone on page with that? I'm just talking to myself here. And then going up from that, network link is disconnected. Well, that's the onboard was disconnected. Service was installed in the system. Oh. NAL service. NVN update. So that's the firmware tool that we ran, and that's 10 minutes prior. to this. So these items right in here, starting with this one. The controller network link is disconnected, but we don't see you disconnecting the USB device. That's interesting. This is disconnecting the onboard device. This is establishing a link of the onboard device. And then onboard device disconnected. Now we don't know if that's it disconnecting after a period of seconds or if that's when you actually unplug the cable. And then name resolution for Zoom timed out. That didn't give us a whole lot. Take a look at update settings. Spell it right. What I really care about here is update history to see if anything got triggered during that time, and I'm suspecting not, because whatever it might have done with drivers is probably already present. October 2nd, so that is October 1st. I gotta remember to read the dates backwards. Here's driver updates. Did anything happen today? No.
Hey, Doug,
Yes.
what was the link speed when you went and checked?
I want to say 1 gigabyte.
Or the internal Ethernet? Okay.
1 gigabit. I should no. Well, the internal Ethernet, we forced it to do 1 gigabit, but we were never able to see that take place because we weren't able to be connected while that was connected to Ethernet.
What is the USB now? Can you see that?
Yeah, I'll go show that.
Okay.
Here's the USB adapter. Go to status. 1 gigabit.
They sort of the same now.
And let's go.
Has Matthew confirmed any of these figures with his ISP that he's supposed to get? I'm just curious.
When he was citing those numbers, I'm assuming he was reporting them from a speed test rather than being what he was told that he should get.
Of course, it's just the speed. It's not really relevant, but I got a hold of tech people. I got unlimited, 50, 10 or something. And I phoned up and I said, it's common sense in a way. I said, what's the limit on my internet? He said, you got unlimited. I said, no, you're not hearing me. What is the limit? I'll go look. 9.99 terabytes. I said, there is a limit.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to reach it. But anyway, it's just the frustration I have here with the ISP. I don't know if Matthew, confirmed. Yeah, you do the speed test, of course. Speedtest.net, whatever. But yeah, okay. It's just a thought I had.
Okay. Yeah. So this piece that I was going after with the drivers doesn't seem. Now, let me point out something to everybody. Matthew did not come to this session today saying, I need this fixed. He came to this session saying, I've got this working through USB adapter, that's fine, but it could be a fun thing to pursue and try to figure out. So it's not like he feels this is a dire important thing. He's fine just running off of the Ethernet USB adapter. Correct, Matthew? No, you're muted. You're muted.
Yeah. I have another question, Doug. Quite possibly, could we have a bad Ethernet card?
It's integrated into the motherboard, so it's not a card.
Well, no, I understand. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
but yeah. Could the circuitry in it be bad? Well, that's possible.
But that's the point, Doug. I mean, if he buys a brand new board and it's sour, he could play with this until the warranty goes out.
Yeah.
Or
Now,
they
but
could-
he did say that other people reported similar problems. Is that right, Matthew?
Yeah, when I Googled the name of the board, looked like other people were having issues that I couldn't say how many. It looked like a lot, but may have just been same person posting over and over again.
Is this Reddit or the Gigabyte support?
I think it was a combination of both.
Like Reddit, forget it. I mean, it rhymes. But the Gigabyte support, would be a little bit more trustworthy. Let's see what the moderators are saying. If they give you an indication they're volunteer support staff, forget it. It's like Intel. The support staff goes around and around and around. So I'm just curious that you might consider just sending the board back. I guess wherever you got it, you can't go through Amazon or whatever.
Well, I mean, I already bought it just over a week ago, so the return period is still there, but the
A
board
local shop
should have a active warranty.
a local shop.
Welcome to my channel.
Who's the vendor, Matthew?
It was Amazon warehouse.
It's Amazon.
Yeah.
If you have Prime, like Doug said about Prime, you just send it back.
Yeah,
Just-
I
well-
have Prime, so.
Matthew, do you care enough to bother sending it back?
It's a good question, really, because I have a workaround that works. So
Yeah, the Ethernet,
Yeah.
the USB Ethernet adapter is not that expensive. Even though Amazon returns are easy, particularly on Prime, it's still you've got to take the motherboard out. You've got perhaps your computer down for a period of time unless you get the replacement in first. And if having a USB adapter doesn't bother you, I would not bother returning it.
Mm.
I wouldn't take my time to do that. So, but that's a personal choice.
No, that's true. As long as he, for lack of a better word, thrashes the machine for the other components. Like, you know what I mean? Test it, like push it,
Yeah.
push the board and see if anything else goes.
So is there some kind of an interactive support site on here to see comments from other people
Uh,
on their website? Does anybody know? Somebody was.
Gigabyte isn't that good. If you looked RGB Fusion 2.0 or 1, I mean, it was garbage from the get-go with Gigabyte. And it turned out at the end of it, you have to reinstall Windows 10 to fix it. So, I mean, if they push this thing through for the people who are interested in RGB, and it's about as stable as, a house of cards, I don't have too much faith in the rest of it,
All right.
the rest of their support. That was a big drawing card with these AORUS boards is RGB, and it doesn't work. It doesn't even install. And then what they should be saying for that one alone, when you download this, reinstall Windows and bring this in. That's just on the side, that's a big thing, RGB and all this, and they're a Fusion 2.0 and it crashes. And the one, there's another channel, I won't mention, he's Canadian, he's had some issues, Timmy, and but he found it out. The end result is reinstall Windows and put RGB to Fusion 2.0 in. So my point is, I don't trust them too much for support. They were really good boards, but you saw the Y3K. with the BIOS. I strongly believe, we know another channel and the publicity. I happened to finish this machine the same day he found it, the Y3K, and it took them months and they snuck it in. Then they're overclocking the boards from the factory. They're overclocking them. And anyway, the point, I think Gigabyte is badly hurt by a lot of things recently. And
Okay, so I'm finding some stuff here supporting what Matthew was saying about that there are hits on this. So I was looking at where are the comments coming from. So this one, internet dropping, coming from Gigabyte.us site. 100% of my computer's issue as no one else on my network connects. When I do, the issue is present on both ports. So let's go take a closer look at that. Yeah, and so if this is just an issue with that motherboard, then it's quite likely that nothing we're going to do is going to fix it. Internet keeps randomly dropping on. I have to keep looking at this. This is your motherboard, right? 570?
I think that's a AMD board.
Oh. Let's see. Oh, here's Z490 is yours. Has long hours of usage. Well, that's not your symptom. Driver support interest. So this is just somebody giving random basics of what they could try.
Mm.
Get out of here.
Jeff mentioned in the chat room that Tom's Hardware says there's a problem with the Ethernet drivers and let Windows Update an older driver, and then he posted a link. You might want to check that.
Yeah, I saw Tom's Hardware in one of these results with this word solved here. So let's go look at that. And I'm going to go catch up with Jeff's comment in orange. He hit me up. If it can't be made to work with integrated LAN, the LAN could be bad and the board should be replaced. Why replace it? If you're okay with using the USB LAN, is it worth going through the trouble of replacing the board? I mean, it's just jumping through a lot of hoops to replace it. I would live with it myself. If a person wants to replace it, then that's a choice. USB network.
This is the point, but I'm just curious. I'm not aware. What processor is it that he has? With the 5th gen, the 500 series, will that processor go into one of those boards?
Well, we'll go look here. It's i9 10850K.
Yeah. So it's 10th gen. So the 500 series should take the same. It's like you say, is it worth it?
Yeah.
But the entire.
Well, he's got plenty of time to make the choice.
Yeah.
If
Like
he
the
finds some other problem with the motherboard, then he may choose to do that. If he decides after a period of time that the only problem is this Ethernet thing, then he could choose to stay with it.
It doesn't help Matthew, but when I went for this, I made up my mind to go Gigabyte when I would build this thing from Asus. They're just too much money, and of course, what do you want? It's $394. Why don't you get the $490? Why don't you get this? Why don't you get the i9 9700K 98? So I'm on the tail end of production. So I just got the 8700K and this board because there was no, didn't get any bad rap on this stuff. It was solid. So it's not going to help Matthew. You can't go backwards. But, I'm just looking at what's out there now. If he sends the board back, you're going to wait for, like an X570 or one of these boards. You might have a point of just stay with what you got and let it run the 4 or 5 years.
Because Matthew, whatever your reason was for upgrading the computer to this motherboard, that mission, that purpose, I'm suspecting was solved. You got your faster performance, yes?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So your reason for upgrading the motherboard has been fulfilled. The only thing downside here is you've got this USB Ethernet connected. Now, you're not getting the full speed out of the integrated Ethernet, but I doubt that you're doing anything that would take advantage of that anyway. You'd have to be doing massive data moves between computers within your home for that to be relevant.
I mean, this is what happens here. The marketing and sales from the ISP goes, you get 1.6 gig down. Nobody looks at the hardware on their computer, and they won't tell you that. You know, you could.
Yeah.
I want to get this. I want to get the fastest stuff. So you put it in and say, well, I'm not getting it. And we're not responsible for your hardware.
Right.
It's only a service, right?
Right. Now, what do you think about Jeff's comment here about let Windows Update download an older driver? We could totally uninstall the drivers from Gigabyte and just see what Windows downloads.
I noticed with the Intel driver assistant, just before the second Tuesday, it might do it multiple times, but in particular, maybe a week, few days before Microsoft updates, it'll throw in driver updates if they're available. I think they're trying to beat out Windows. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
But that's just my own experience.
Now that's a direction that we haven't pursued yet, and I think it was Gary that was suggesting that we go for drivers from the Intel website.
But I've never noticed a LAN driver updating. But you know, if I had a board like Matthew's, you know, 4th, 5th gen, Intel may get involved in that. You know, I just let the IDAS just run its own thing, right? Now and again, I refresh it, so it rescans the hardware, and it just, you know, if there's a red circle, you go and tell it to download everything, and it's gone.
Question for Gary.
Yes.
My prior experience with going to a manufacturer site to get a driver for something that was sold as part of some other device, I've found that the model number of what I want to update is never on the manufacturer's site. For instance, with a Dell or HP prepackaged computer, if I go to the website for the sound adapter, the network adapter, I find that the model number that is in this computer is not available directly from that manufacturer. So when you went poking around Intel's site, did you actually find this model of Ethernet adapter?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Well, let's go look at that then.
Yeah, it was killer performance.
So let's go look at that. I'll bring up, let's see, get that out of the way, bring up a new tab. So the website I want to go to is Intel or Killer Performance?
Killer performance. Excuse me.
Killer Performance.
Yes, it's under Ethernet.
KILLER Performance. Driver Suite.
Yep, yes. And I thought that's the one you said. I'm not going to swear to it.
You thought I said that?
I might have been Blackwash, but somebody said it. That's what you said.
Yeah, I don't think I.
Well, no, the number one is in there.
Killer Performance, but so this Intel Killer Performance Suite is on the Intel site, so that makes sense. Using the Microsoft tool to fix Intel Killer Control. Killer Performance Driver Suite cannot be installed with Killer Ethernet Performance Suite or similar. Older version cannot be removed. And that's from Intel's site.
Where did you get that document at?
I just did a Google search. For Killer Performance Driver Suite.
Yeah, but Gary, isn't that more of a corporate thing?
Quite the opposite.
Like, might get Matthew in over his head, if you know what I mean. Like,
Well, let's just read a little bit about it. We're not downloading anything yet.
Exactly.
Version of Intel Killer installs the Windows 10 Wi-Fi, Ethernet drivers, and killer networking software for the following Intel Killer products. Intel Killer. See, I don't recall seeing Intel Killer in the device manager or anything about the motherboard. So where is this name coming from?
They actually bought a company with that name.
Intel bought a company with that name?
Yes. And if you look, E3100, 3000, 3100G, 2500 version 2, and 2600, those are all Ethernet cards. The 1550, the 1650, and the 1675 are Wi-Fi.
But the Ethernet adapter that's in this motherboard is not listed here.
I apologize, and I thought you said 2500. That is the case.
No. Let's go back here and see. I can't quite recite what it was, but I don't believe that was it. So let's go back here to network adapters, and here's the built-in 1225-V.
1225.
Yeah,
I believe you. 1225.
1225-V. So Control F, 1225. That number doesn't appear on this page. So this is, well, we're on this page because of a Google search. So let's get 1225V.
They have a 9. Well, hold on a second, sir. Let's just make sure. That comes up 920, or what was it again? 1225 does come up under Intel.
Okay, here when I did a Google search including 1225V, this first one does not include 1225. That's what it shows right here, except it's the hyphen it's objecting to. So let me just do 1225. So nope, still doesn't come up 1225. So I'm looking here to see if I got anything Intel that includes the 1225. All of these have this must include 1225, so they don't have it there.
Correct.
Going back to the Intel site and into support. And let's see, products. Let's see, this is support for drivers and downloads. Auto update your download centered. So I'm not going to choose, well, I could do auto update. And Ethernet products.
Oh.
And then Ethernet products, which type? Something here for, there's Intel Killer, but still, Killer hasn't come to us from the motherboard.
No, it's not. It wouldn't. I'm just curious, this board, because of the way Amazon's doing some of the business, it's a consumer board, right? It's assuming that. I'm not familiar with the 400. I know the 490, but the model number at the end, he said, doesn't ring a bell, but it's got to be a consumer board, right?
Well, yeah.
Well, you know what,
To
Carey,
consumer as opposed to commercial? I don't know.
well, you know what, Carey ran it. The thing where he had the board, he's playing around with the BIOS and all this. It was a OEM board.
Yeah.
I know he flashed the BIOS, and so it worked okay. But when that stuff starts to happen, and you get OEM board, they're coming out in the marketplace.
Well, I do recall that he had an experience that's similar to what I'm describing, where you can't find a little bit different in his experience, where it was a board that was intended for large corporate environment and not for consumers, and therefore drivers that he was normally accustomed to just weren't available because the model numbers.
I think that whole thing, they just kind of let go under the carpet. And I think a few people should have got slapped for that, personally.
Doug,
Yes.
you guys are chasing your tail. It's not a 1225. It's an I225.
Oh, thank
If
you.
if you look at that device manager again, that's not a 1. That's an I.
All right. I'm with you now. Depending upon the font, if I could see how that font does a 1, then it would be obvious. But some fonts do a 1 like that. But yeah, good. So thank you, Jim. So let's come back over here and change that Google search to I-25.
Yeah, I225 is what you're looking for because the I signifies internal, which means it's on the board.
Oh, okay.
What a concept.
So still that didn't get any hits with the Google search. But now here, in order to, this doesn't give me a way to actually do the model number search, and forces me to drill down, and I have to pick the right category here, and none of these actually are coming right, except it does claim to be a gigabit Ethernet adapter. Let's look a little bit closer back at that. Intel Ethernet controller. But even what we're seeing here can vary depending upon what Windows is detecting from the device.
It's commonplace to have the internet card on the box saying 10-1000, which it's not 1000. Most of them weren't. You know, you figure it was 1G card. It's nowhere near it. In fact, sometimes the onboard ones can't put through the input that the USB ones can. You know, like you get a plug-in one that's wireless is 500, and the onboard one's about 325. So saying it's a 1G, that's just a marketing thing, 10-1000, you know?
Doug, Catherine posted a real good link. You might want to check it out. It takes you right to that I2225.
Beautiful. Catherine, love you. All right, so let's go bring that up on screen. All right, I've got a few links coming in here. I'm going to take a quick look. There's Tony with $4.99. Thank you. I think was that. Did I already see that? I don't think so. It does support a whole bunch of things here. iNot RNL, good. William's got a link here. Catherine's got a link here. Intel. Catherine here, I sent the link. Found it, but I get. Oh, Catherine, come on, stop! You hurt me every time you come out with that complaint. I just can't tell you how much that stresses me out. No, I'm not. Nobody's ignoring you. Come on, just because I don't see you instantly. Now I got growling like a bear. Yeah, okay, you got growling like a bear. Okay, all right. She got a little cranky, backing off. Thank you, Catherine. You know I love you. Thank you, Kansas. You're good. He will see it now. Okay. Here I sent the link. So this link.
That one.
Gigabit Ethernet controllers out of the promise launch. Yeah, of course, it's Catherine that would find the right piece, the right place. Look at this. That just looks great.
She is good at finding things.
She is good at finding things. She is a research. I hope Maven is a good word. Just, yeah. Thank you, Catherine. What are we looking at? Okay. Essentials, supplement documentation, product collection, products family, launch, PC client, PCIe, export specs. So this is our model number. Totally clear. Ordering a client, compliance, drivers and software. Yeah. Looking to my right to see what else going there. Catherine's saying left side, so drivers and software, I think is what she's saying that
Right.
for.
Click on that and go down.
Then we got 3 pages here. So download Windows 10 network adapter driver pack. I'm not inclined to do that, but it's the same version number. Download administrative tools. No, I don't. I'm not attracted to that. Connections boot utility, pre-boot images. No, that doesn't sound like it's for us. Download adapter user guide. No. So among those, I lean towards this top one.
Can you expand it on the left?
Say again?
Can you expand it on the left with the down arrow?
There.
Yeah.
Installs Intel Network Adapter Drivers Release 2.0 for Windows 10. View download options. Windows 10. Okay, so this complete pack I would think would be more than that. This Intel for supported OS version. So this is more than Windows. This is other operating systems. That's what they mean by complete driver. Okay, so that says we're interested in this. But we got 3 pages here. It seems to me that they put the most likely, the most popular result first. Software release notes, no. Adapter driver Windows 10. This is older, isn't it? What was our date back here? 7/22/21. That's 1 day difference. Network adapter driver Windows 10. Installs driver release 26.4. I think that's the same number. Complete driver pack. This kind of looks like a repeat. Those all look the same as it was on the first page. All right, so it looks to me pretty obvious the first one on the first page. Anybody disagreeing?
All those in favor say aye.
Oh, sounds correct to me, Doug.
Yeah, okay, so then what this says for details is just expand it, take us to another page. Another page. Available downloads. So we've got all this to do. Notes, release notes, base drivers, supported devices. I'd like to see something here that fixes the problem with the network dropping out after a few minutes. Did not see that. There's release notes. And okay, so wired ProSet driver, these two say ProSet, these two say driver. 64-bit, 35 megabytes, 32 megabytes, 2913. 32-bit, not us. 64-bit is us, 32-bit's not us. So this one and this one are potentials. The difference between those is wired driver or wire ProSet. So I've seen network adapters that include the word pro. This one doesn't. So that makes me lean towards this one. There's no expanding here. Nothing that tells us more about it. I'm leaning this way. ProSet, just we haven't seen the word pro anywhere. Oh, here. Driver package or Intel ProSet package. ProSet is some kind of a extra Intel management software, isn't it?
I believe so.
Okay, so here we go. I accept the terms in the license agreement. That has something to do with your income for the next 10 years. I hope you're okay with that, Matthew. All right, so
We'll take it out of Jim's pocket.
yeah.
It seems awfully odd that everybody's having these problems, and of course, he's had these problems. I'm thinking the cumulative security update just went into Windows 10, but if it's a constant thing with the board, defined resolution outside of Intel and Gigabyte just sounds. If you get it and it works, that's great. But I guess what I'm saying is, why hasn't anybody else tracked this? You know. But carry on. Geez, if you fix it, you might get on Reddit, Doug.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's what I want. Oh, yeah, I just been dying for that. And Catherine says, just install both. It will tell you if not correct. And I noticed that because I am so in tune with Catherine. I see her comments instantly when she says something.
Have you done the AMD chipset drivers yet?
Say again?
Have you done the AMD chipset drivers?
This isn't an AMD processor. Why would we do that?
Oh, I thought they said it was. I apologize.
No.
No. This is all Intel from what I am led to believe.
Yeah. There was a i10, 10th generation.
It's a 10850K and it's a Z490 board. So that would all be Intel.
Jim's taking notes. Thank you so much.
Boy, he's late. He has to write it all down.
Yeah, either that or it's just that quick. So install update drivers for Intel network connections. So if this one works, I don't know that we need to try we could try the other one if we still have the problem, I suppose. But that seems a little overkill.
Well, usually if it's wrong, it'll tell you the hardware's not compatible, the driver's not compatible, whatever. It'll tell you.
Okay, here we go. Drivers for Intel network connections were successfully installed. I'm gonna not click on that yet until we go see what this tells us in. I guess I don't have that open anymore, do I? All right. So then, right click, device manager. Network adapters, Intel Ethernet. Oh, that's a different number. 1219-LM.
You're on your system, Doug, not mine.
Yes, I am. Did I just install that driver on my system?
I think you did, yeah.
I did?
You might have.
Oh, no.
You
So
did.
you might have the same problem as me now.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you in a month.
Where is that person from yesterday? He's confused. He doesn't know what he's doing. We need that person back. I did all that searching on my computer.
Would you run it on your computer?
You know what? You guys didn't hear this. Before we went live, Matthew complimented me about being able to keep all these computers straight and organized.
Well, there goes that.
Yeah, there goes that.
Oh, shoot.
It's always good to keep your computer straight.
All right. So what I think I'm doing here, I did that because I brought up chat and I clicked on the link from Catherine. I didn't copy it to Matthew's computer.
I went to get a drink. Can you do that again? I missed it.
Okay, so here I'm back on my computer. I'm going to copy the link and then bring that over to Matthew's computer. Oh, gee. That is just
You can't look well.
too...
I know that I'm drinking, Doug. What's your excuse?
My excuse is that I'm confused and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm totally going to own that phrase. I accept terms and license agreement. Oh, that is wild.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, well, I do. I believe my motherboard is Gigabyte, so that's probably was totally valid.
You instate it on.
I completely understand the confused part, but why are you making videos on your costs that get abused?
It makes for good YouTube, doesn't it?
It's not.
That's true. That's true.
Motherboard drive. So here's the extracted folder. Matthew, I am clicking on your computer, right?
No.
That was Darren saying no.
Yeah, you're definitely on it.
All right. Darren, you're messing with me. So here's the executable. I don't have an option for. Oh,
You're in the
I
zipped
haven't
folder still.
extracted it. I did extract it. I just didn't go into the right folder. Oh, I'm so confused. Okay,
He's
so
confused.
right-click on the executable, run as administrator. If that person who referred to asked if I knew what I was doing and if I'm confused, if you're watching, speak up in the chat room.
There you
You're
go.
welcomed here.
Yeah.
Join us on Zoom.
Pardon?
The person that said that should join us on Zoom.
Yeah, take ownership. I'm taking ownership of the term. Yeah, Catherine said it too. You installed it on your own PC. Hilarious. I'm not sure if she said that before we discovered it or after. B.A. Dringer, with any luck, this video may go viral. B.A. Dringer, I don't recall if you were in at the beginning, but you did make it into the Google Earth on this video. You are now
Only seen the last few minutes.
there. Install update drivers.
I take ownership of a new. Oh.
Catherine
Looking
takes ownership of a new Logitech camera.
Ooh.
Which one?
I don't know. Which one, Catherine?
920.
Darren missed it. Only seen the last few minutes. So Darren, did you completely miss what I did wrong?
I did. I asked you to do it
I'm
again.
talking to Catherine about her video.
Oh, Catherine told you?
Oh, he's referring to.
Oh,
Catherine.
he's referring to Catherine's video. All right. Download.
920 HD Pro. Nice.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm messing up here again. I alt-tabbed away from that. Your download will begin. We already had the download.
That's the same camera I'm using right now, actually.
Did this thing finish already?
Yeah, I think a message popped up to say
Yeah, I
it
think
installed.
so, but it doesn't hurt anything to run it again. So since I was just distracted. People distract me. That's
on
my
first?
confusion.
I was going to vote for the confusion, but distraction works too.
Yeah, installing network drivers for Intel Ethernet I225-V. I as in Ida. Is Ida still with us? Yeah, I see her recently in chat. Drivers for Intel Network Connection successfully installed. Close. Ay caramba. Now, you know the clue that I was on my computer that I missed is that with Matthew's computer, I always have to press the Windows key to see his start button. And I
Ooh.
did notice when I went into Device Manager on my computer, the start button was there. I thought, well, that's different. How did that happen? Intel Ethernet controller still says I225-V, and
And the question is, you're going to have to restart for the driver to take effect.
Oh, that's a different
that's
version.
a different version number. Well, we can try it without restarting. If we still have the symptom, then we could restart. Let's close down some stuff. I guess we could leave that browser open, just minimize it.
I think Jim's got a point. I saw a video a few days ago. The guy said you have to do a cold restart to get the drivers loaded. Did you see that video?
I have often done that to fix a network connection. In fact, this computer sitting behind, or the one that I recently did a video on.
No, I'm sorry. It was your video. I'm not going to
Yeah,
play this.
Tech Tales. I had to do a full shutdown, and that is a common thing that I've found. when a network adapter is just failing totally, I don't know that in that case I was not actually changing a driver. So what did I want
Nice
to
camera.
do for Catherine?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Real
Oh,
nice.
you pulled it up on a
Yeah,
search.
Amazon site. I wanted to see what it was. How long I got to stand on the street corner.
All right.
Yeah, the first video I ever, computer video I ever put on YouTube was done completely with a 920 camera.
Oh. 920. What is mine?
920.
I think mine are 920, aren't they? They don't put the model number on them on any of these. 920C. I think mine's are all a C. But anyway, Matthew, you're up to bat. It's time to swap your cable again.
Okay, I'll see you in a minute.
Yep.
Man, silence here is deafening.
Oh.
If you want, I can.
When Doug's trying to do something, everyone's trying to talk. Doug's waiting. Now nobody's talking.
I want to make a comment on Williams Dawson's comment. He says, makes sense, you need to clear old driver out of the system. No, I don't think that is actually the reason for a full shutdown. I think the reason that I've experienced for a full shutdown when a network adapter is having a problem is because a full shutdown, and when you turn the power on, the computer reinitializes, the network adapter actually reinitializes its own circuitry, its own hardware, long before a driver is involved. And I've had clients who, like with Windows 10, most people are aware, maybe most of you know, the default for Windows 10 when you do shutdown, it does not do a full shutdown, it does a hybrid shutdown. Therefore, on Windows 10, doing the start button power restart is a more thorough restart. However, that still does not reinitialize hardware. The better thing to do with Windows 10, if you've got a hardware sourced problem, is to Windows key run and then shut down space /S space /T. And then I usually do a 3. That means 3 seconds. That gets a full shutdown. So the next time you press the power button, it's going to actually reinitialize all the hardware from a power on initialization. Now you can accomplish that by turning off fast boot also and disabling hibernation. And that way, every time you do start power shutdown, you are accomplishing a full shutdown, which totally makes sense with SSDs. The only reason that hybrid shutdown was ever advantageous was when we did not have SSDs, because it would cause the computer to start up faster. The spinning hard drive wouldn't have to load everything from the hard drive, but SSDs do it almost the speed of RAM.
Wow.
Oh, I see Carey Holzman in chat.
Royalty in the house.
Yeah, Carey's in the house.
Holy crap.
These problems are often solved by replacing the Ethernet cable, even if it works on other adapters. This is the case that Gary was making, right? Or was it Jim?
I just mentioned you might have to restart the machine to clear it out. That's all.
Okay, but somebody was asking about the cable.
Gary.
That was Gary. All right. So the Carey is coming in with that same comment. Even if it works on other adapters, and completely power down any router or switch. And then Sam Lazar just jumped in. He says hello. And Carey also says, also look inside the Ethernet jack on the motherboard for any damage to the pins inside. Now, Carey, I don't know how long you've been listening, but when each time that he does a fresh install of the Gigabyte driver for the Ethernet, it works for a few minutes and then it stops. Try plugging into another LAN jack on the switch router. Now I suspect Matthew, well, he's not with us yet. Yeah, he's gone. I'm sure he's in the same Ethernet port, whether he's using the USB Ethernet or the integrated Ethernet. Jim, what? What is that? What are you saying there?
It's a cultural reference, Doug.
It's a cultural reference. You're
Yes.
saying you're not worthy to Carey Holzman? What are you doing?
Yes. Some of these guys are not worthy.
Yeah.
Let's get back here. All right, so I gotta get Carey on in the video with his contributions. Problem solved by replacing the Ethernet cable. Now he doesn't have an extra Ethernet cable. We do know that, and we do know that it was it's a Cat 5e. Also, yeah, inside the Ethernet jack, and try plugging into another LAN jack. We're not worthy. Oh, he says we're not worthy. Oh, Jim, I thought I read it wrong. On this screen over here, it's smaller. This screen I'm zoomed in. Over here, I thought you said you're not worthy, Carey Holzman. What? No, you can't be saying that to our Carey, our beloved Carey.
Is Jim talking about John Travolta and Pulp Fiction now, or is he?
No. No, Wayne's World.
You're going back to Wayne's
Wayne's
World. You're in the back seat, are you? For the AMC?
I'll that one over my head. I don't know what that was about.
I'll play Bohemian Rhapsody shortly.
Catherine saying how to carry, had a few weeks issue, cable died on server. Once I replaced, started to work. Boy, I messed up that sentence. I've had cable replacements recently too, to fix problems. Use Intel Driver Update Assistant, and Ida saying hello. Okay, so I think the Intel Driver Update Assistant we've not done yet. We're still waiting for Matthew to come back. He's showing offline.
He's
And
changing the cable you wanted him to, isn't he?
say again?
He's changing the cable that you asked him to.
He doesn't have an extra cable. He already told us that.
No, I thought you said switch cable.
I told him to move the cable from the USB Ethernet
Okay.
to the integrated Ethernet.
That's why I asked at the beginning of this is a brand new cable, because if it's with his ISP, it's old technology. You need something relevant to the board.
Yeah, and he did tell us it's a new cable. He bought it. We don't know how recently he bought it, but it's not a cable from the ISP because he
No,
got
you
it.
don't want that. That's my point. You don't want their hardware. You cables. You buy your own relevant to the board.
He bought a 20-meter cable, and that's what he's using.
Yeah.
But it should be the same specs that the board wants, Gary.
No, I think that's what he said he bought.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, it's not actually up to the capability of the motherboard because he bought a Cat 5e. The motherboard is a 2.5 gigabyte capability, and that's not 5e. That's 6, isn't it? Yeah. But it'll downgrade to that, and he's never going to make use of that 2.5 anyway.
Now, I've got a B550 board that has a 2.5 internal Ethernet adapter. I've got it plugged into Cat 5e, and I've got it hooked up to my 1 gig switch. It negotiates at 1 gig. Have a nice day.
Yeah, that's fine. That's faster than your internet speed anyway.
Oh, certainly mine, yes.
Yeah. Sam says I always install that Intel Driver Update Assistant on my computer and my client's computer. So we were at the Intel website, and it had that auto detect for drivers that we did not do. We manually selected the driver and installed it. So is that auto detect on the Intel website, is that the same as the Intel Driver Update Assistant?
Now you should use their software.
Because that's a download. When you use their auto detect, doesn't it want to download that software?
Not always. not always. It's
Okay.
the
Download that software. It downloads the software that you need from that.
yeah, it's IDAS, the
Okay.
software.
Carey says the 2.5 may not communicate with an older switch or router. Okay. Yeah, well, possible.
That's like the ISP now.
Sure.
Normal ones, you got a Home Hub 2000. Now they're going to give you a 4000, which is a commercial grade one for consumers. It's keeping up with their fiber optics backbone. You know, they're skipping the added cost for the modem.
So hello to Zavi Manor is here, and then Carey adds, or if the switch router is faulty. Now, another piece of this that Carey may not have saw us go through, but a whole lot of other people reporting Ethernet problems with this motherboard, it appears. And then Sam, my network switch mesh router and TV is 1 gigabyte. I have 5-meter cable, 6A from the TV to my switch. Now we're still waiting for Matthew to come back online.
Yeah, he's been gone a
Yeah,
while.
it's been gone a long time. Well, my screen here tells me 9 minutes and 30 seconds. It's actually counting how long he's been offline.
Bathroom break.
I know a lot of people had trouble with this board, and I'm going back some years, but the ISP here warned nothing over 6 foot, or you're going to have trouble.
Nothing over 6 foot length of Ethernet?
That was from their side. The ISP is saying, you know, you could have problems, and they're not going to be ours. You know, I know we're dealing with the board problem too.
Yeah, that sounds like a cop out to just
Oh, definitely.
be able to not provide any support. Oh, you're using more than 6 foot length? No, you're outside of our
Absolutely.
support.
That's absurd.
Yeah, that's craziness.
That's what they used to do.
There's no legitimacy to that.
Well, they're counting on the ignorance of the average person. That's all.
Yeah. Catherine maybe got himself a sandwich. Carey, I think those Ethernet problems being reported are all negotiation issues with an older switch router. Okay, hey boy, that you know what? That makes a lot of sense. A lot of people reporting problems with that.
But you
Well,
changed
a lot
it
of
already.
people have older routers. All right, that's entirely believable.
Yeah, but you changed that, Doug.
I changed what?
You changed the negotiation already.
Well, we changed we told the computer to
That's software only, though.
force 1 gigabit. And that's the
2.5.
software side. So that prevents the router from needing to negotiate with the computer. So could the router still have a problem with that 2.5 gigabit capability Ethernet adapter, even though it has been restricted to 1 gigabit and no auto negotiation?
And what did you look? You said you looked at link speed and it was 1 gig.
Yes.
Yeah, he was getting 1 gig on the USB. We were never able to see that on the integrated Ethernet because we haven't been able to connect when he's using
I think you had it up for a little while and you got it. Well, whatever.
He had it up for a little while and he said it looked like it was trying to connect to Zoom, but I never got connected under that scenario. It quit too soon. Let's see, lunch conversation, and then Carey says, I've seen this issue a number of times. It's nearly always the switch router cable. BH Ringer, video needs to be retitled Doug World.
Doug's World instead of Wayne's World.
Doug's World. All right. I was wanting to add the S to that.
Pop culture reference.
Yeah, for meaning Wayne's World. And I might get that if I've ever watched Wayne's World. I know the name, but I can even picture the guy. I know what he looks like, but Wayne, but
Dana Garvey, and
I
who was
don't
the
know
other?
the show. And
Like
Carey,
my-
it only happens with 2.5 gigabyte LAN going into auto negotiate switch router that is older. So the switch router is still configured for auto negotiate, even though we've told the Ethernet port to force 1 gigabit. It is, the switch is still what it is. Could it still have a problem? I don't know. Good. As far as I know, I haven't run into that problem. So Carey says he's seen the issue. I have not come across it. And I think I haven't come across it only because I don't buy computers that have 2.5 gigabyte Ethernet. We don't have any use for that. If an Ethernet cable is over, now Carey's doing, modern day new custom built motherboards. So yeah, he comes across that a lot, I'm sure. If an Ethernet cable over 100 meters, then the signal will be degraded. Anything less than you should have no issues. Agreed. That I think 100 meters is the limit on Ethernet, or at least one of the Ethernet. Some of the Ethernets, I'm not sure which ones are limited to that. But I never go beyond that anyway. That's crazy. That's a football field.
300 meters.
Say again?
300 meters.
300 meters?
Yeah. 300 meters to do 1 gig. If it's 5.E or higher.
Oh, that's the limit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were correcting me on the length of a football field.
No.
I ate pizza yesterday. Forcing negotiation is typically worthless. Forcing the negotiation. Is he referring to us restricting it to 1 gigabyte? We were trying to prevent the Ethernet adapter from doing negotiation when we know the Ethernet cable is not capable of 2.5. BT has had problems with their modem. Or BT. BT, I'm trying to think of the name from BT. Their modems and their new equipment from the past router beta test I've done. The fact that internal did, you know what? I gotta check. I haven't heard a doorbell. I don't think he's sitting out there waiting for me.
Maybe you better get Darren to check on that.
Nope, he hasn't. Darren to check on, you want him to go over to Matthew's house?
They're both in the UK, aren't they?
Yeah, of course they all know each other there, right? The fact that the internal NIC does not detect a cable is plugged in is a red flag pointing to the router switch, but it does detect a cable. It does detect a cable and it functions for a few minutes. And do we know that it doesn't detect a cable being plugged in when it goes down? Yeah, we do, because it goes to the wireframe globe. So I might be picking at the verbiage that Carey uses, because I'm trying to focus in on because he has experience with this. So okay, anyway, Darren, my 2.5 US adapter, 300 megs long, 300 meters, Cat 6, 100 meters, 328 feet. Yeah, which corresponds. Okay. Yeah, well, we're not using, that isn't our issue here because we got a 20 meter cable. Zvi, does he update a firmware to LAN on board? Yes, we did do the firmware for the network adapter on the motherboard. We did that during this video. Just got the email, you subscribed to me on YouTube. From Sam to Ken. All right, caught up with chat.
Is Tim in here?
Tim Sowell?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen Tim.
I'm just worried. You got Carey on. How do we know this isn't Tim?
Because Tim has had allegedly had imposter issues.
That's my point.
Maybe he's. Hey, how is Carey's name showing up in gray, highlighted like that? Oh, it's because his channel. It's because of the level of his channel. I haven't seen anybody come in here in my chat that has such a large channel. That highlighted in gray and the check mark is something about the number of subscribers he has. And thank you, Carey, for jumping in. Appreciate that you're contributing to this and that you're saying hello to us while you're on your vacation. And I hope you're having a great time on your vacation in Michigan. I had the hardest time, longest time, I was trying to remember what is the state that he likes to go to until I realized, you know what, every Friday it's Michigan on the show.
Wonder how
Nice
Mitch is
state.
doing.
That's how I remember it. I had thoroughly enjoying both of them. So answered that. Just got the email. Sam, not sure how, but somewhere I got La La Land. Could not find your channel, so I just resubscribed. Oh, that's between those two. Sorry. Catherine, firmware is up to date.
Okay, Matthew says he's in the Zoom.
Not 300 meters, 300 feet, which is 100 meters. Yeah, I understand. I might, if I misunderstood that, I didn't. That is my understanding. 300 feet, 100 meters. Yeah. And then BH Ringer is getting 1.32 jumbo jets. Matthew, back. Doug, that was interesting. In the Zoom, waiting currently. Okay, great. Coming up to you. I you know what? I did hear it. And how did I just see? Oh, that's how. All right. Matthew, coming back in. So he's got some interesting stuff to report to us.
Michigan.
Yeah, you hadn't caught that? Yeah, that's and Mitch is from Michigan himself.
Right. Wonder how his trip was going or is going.
Yeah, I don't know. Carey, have you heard anything from Mitch? They're probably not keeping in communicado so that they just totally refresh. So Matthew, you're back.
Yeah, so basically what happened was when I plugged the Ethernet cable back in, this time it prompted me to restart. And that restart took, well, however long it's been, 7-8 minutes.
Yeah.
I guess it was trying to do something, but perhaps it just gave up eventually. I did run while the cable was still plugged in. You can probably see it on the screen. I ran the very useful Windows diagnostic tool.
Don't you just love that?
Yeah. And
Snickers.
Hey, Matthew, don't cheap out with the quick fix.
Sarcasm? That's sarcasm?
came up with this message, but that's probably got nothing to do with the problem. Yeah.
So we're back on the USB Ethernet adapter, and the integrator is disconnected. So let me have you restate that again. You plug the cable in. You did get a prompt for restarting the computer.
Yeah.
And did that prompt come up in relation to you plugging in the cable?
It seemed to be about maybe 10-20 seconds afterwards.
All right. I don't know where that was coming from. But anyway, you restarted the computer. And did you get connection to the internet?
Initially, this time for maybe about a minute, it did seem to be working, and then it just dropped off again.
Okay, so seemed to be working, which means you didn't actually open a browser and get to a website.
It looked like Zoom might have still been working, but then it stopped.
Does that not sound like software and hardware having trouble talking?
Well, here's the question that I have. When this thing drops out, do the lights on the internal adapter go out as well?
That's a good question. I'd have to swap it around again, probably. But
yeah, the lights. The lights would be an interesting piece too. Looks like Carey's got a few more contributions here. I don't know, Matthew, if you were aware that Carey Holzman is with us in the chat room.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So let's see, where are we at? Yeah, so Carey got my Mitch again. Mitch is back from his trip. He had a good trip, all safe. Thanks for the update from Ken. The restart took a while because it timed out waiting for an IP address. Okay, I'll buy that. The diagnostic tool on my old server has ISP internet issue. No other device had issues, so was the server. Cable replacement fixed it. And Sam Lazar is going to be with me. What was it? We agreed on Sam? I think it was, Friday next week for my time. It's Saturday. Sam's, because he's in Australia, so he comes to us from the future. And I think Friday, I'm not sure if that's 12, 1, or 2. They recently had a daylight savings time change there, so I got to figure out what that's going to be. So Carey Holzman says, I'd bet $100 that it's the switch router or cable. Yeah, boy, he's really all in on that router. So Matthew, I don't know if you heard. Yeah, I bet. Oh, don't you love this, Carey, experiencing the typo side of the chat room?
Oh, please, everybody does.
Yeah, well, everybody does that, but yeah, he did. I don't know how often he's actually in the chat room and typing. It's so easy to do typos. You just type it and hit enter. So anyway, Matthew, we don't have camera, do we, Matthew? Are you not giving us camera anymore? You got camera?
Well, basically, the webcam's not great, so when it gets dark in the room, even with the light on, it becomes pretty ineffective. So.
All right.
I got a costume.
That's all right.
I got a costume you can wear for that, Matt. Got fluorescent things around the mouth and eyes, and that's really cool.
But let's catch Matthew up with what Carey's take is on this, and he's told us that he has multiple times seen the case that sounds precisely like what you're having, and also he's saying that the fact that other people are reporting similar problems with this motherboard and the 2.5 gigabyte is that it's the router or the cable, but that they just can't get along with this high capability motherboard Ethernet port. Now, something else that Carey probably hasn't heard, because I'm assuming that he hasn't been with us the whole time, is that you have this 1 gigabit USB Ethernet adapter currently connected, and you're fine with that. And then also you are still within your return period for Amazon, and if you were to go that route, I'd say that at this point that our theory is that it's not because of a defect of the motherboard, so you would want to return the motherboard and get a different motherboard if you cared about using the integrated Ethernet and didn't want to tolerate a USB Ethernet.
Well, that was my point. If he went up to the Gigabyte 500 series, and if he can do that with the processor, bypass the 400 altogether.
Oh, that's why you were asking about that. So you were proposing a different motherboard that he could use the same processor with.
Right. Skip the 400 to 490, go to 590, 570. I don't know.
Sure.
You know, maybe that whole series had a problem.
Yeah. Sam, in regards to the time, yes, I will send you an email to confirm that we both got our times straight, similar to the prior email that I sent to you on that. And what Sam and I are going to talk about is our different strategies for tech support. He's a working technician, and we're going to talk about our different strategies because we are very different in the way we handle our business. And Carey says, yes, I'm aware of the USB adapter working. Okay, great. So that's just a choice on Matthew whether he cares about it, but I think it makes sense to not return that motherboard to get a replacement of the same model and do something like what Blackwatch is suggesting about another motherboard that's compatible with the processor and whatever else equipment that you have. Catherine, board is too expensive for this type of fault. First I would try the cable, then the router. Yes, 90%. You can still use your CPU. Yeah, but it's not if the truth of the matter is what Carey's believes it is, then it's not a fault of the board. It's a fault of the router not being able to keep up with newer equipment. And it's quite possible, Matthew, is it possible that you're due for a router upgrade from your ISP, or that you would be interested in purchasing your own router?
But that was the point from almost the get-go when Gary and I were saying about the cable and the modem. Like, is it supporting the motherboard, the PC now? You know.
Well, I didn't think that was a viable route, and that's because I haven't had any experience with that type of issue. The only reason for my openness to it now is because Gary has experienced that issue, and that is more on his line of work because he's had more experience with integrated network adapters that do 2.5 gigabytes. I do all manufactured computers. I never come across that.
It's just the way the ISP, they hear about they said you can change over to fiber optics 3 or whatever, but the Home Hub 2000 is automatically replaced with the 4000. So they're going to give you the hardware upgrades to support the backbone.
Yeah. Well, I routinely, but it's every about 2 years, I can get a new router free from my ISP that has higher speed capabilities. And so that's why I'm thinking that it might be available for Matthew.
Well, that's why I don't buy them, because this one crapped out at 14 months. Why should I buy it for $100? You know, they're not that reliable.
The switch router being the issue. Okay, so catching up in chat. Intel admits a hardware problem. Don't do much work with clients. Lockdown in Australia has forced me to defer certain clients' jobs. Carried likely not the board. I think that's totally sounds sensible. Or the router is actually failing. Is the router fast enough? Good question.
You know what he could do, Doug? Like, there's walk-in stores here. So, like Home Hub 2000, whatever it is, if he has the same thing there, he could, and it's the ISP router, and they have stores. You put it in a box, you go back and say it's not working, but you tested it thoroughly. Give me another one. You don't go through, you know. I got a technician in here. I said the one light came on. Send a guy out, and he's. I won't get into it. He almost laid hands on me. Anyway, he said, I'm going to fix it. I said, on your own dime. Go out the truck and get me another one. He screwed up all my phone lines. The point is, you just take it back and you say, it ain't working. You know, you don't argue with technicians.
Yeah, most DSL modems, though, aren't going to get 1 gig. And he said he had 80/20, I think.
Yeah, 80/20.
80 down and 20 up.
Yeah, that's right.
Matthew, you're back there with us now. What? How old is your router?
It's coming up to a year old.
Yeah.
I mean, the actual hardware of it, of course, could be, much older.
Yeah, but even though it's not extremely old, it still might not be capable to keep up with this cutting edge technology integrated Ethernet adapter that you have, which is basically the lines that Carey's talking about here. So Zvi Manor has given a link from Intel that has specific problems with this adapter. So let's go look at that again, or not again, but we're going to go look at. I had that up on screen. Carey replaces all the time. Would restarting the router do anything? What about PCIe 1G Ethernet adapter? I don't. What about it?
Oh, he's talking about plugging in a PCIe Ethernet card into
A card into the computer. Well, that's not going to help him any more than the USB adapter, is it?
Unless you get 2.5.
Well, but he's not going to do anything with 2.5. He doesn't have high data volume between computers within his home. I mean, it's web browsing.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, you know, 1 gigabyte's more than the speed of his internet anyway, so he's never gonna go over that. Why would you care about that? And restarting the router, would it do anything?
Maybe.
And only along the lines that it's you're just looking for what else can you try?
Doug, a lot of routers upgrade their firmware when you restart them.
Well, okay, there could be. It might have a firmware upgrade waiting for restart, maybe.
I doubt it, but
Yeah. So Catherine's asking what ISP and router version you have, Matthew. He's told us a little bit about ISP before. It's kind of unusual, but go ahead and address that, Matthew, would you?
Well, I've got it up on the screen if you want to.
Oh, okay. Let me go. Let's see if I can find the right computer this time. All right. I knew that would get some chuckles.
Did you tell Carey about that?
No, I don't know if Carey saw that or not. Let's.
Oh, you got my machine taken over again. Let it go.
All right, so here, Smart Hub 2 Manager. BT is the network. BT Smart Hub. It shows devices connected, access control, volume of data, internet connections. So these are the devices you have connected. All of them port 2. Maybe you have a LAN port from your router going to a switch.
Yeah, I mean, there's more than one PC plugged into the router, so.
Okay. So this is actually showing the layout of your network?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. BT Smart Hub, wireless connections, those devices are coming in wireless. And here's something USB from the Smart Hub. Here's Ethernet connections for devices. And one of these would be the USB Ethernet for your computer. So these BRNS 01, that would be, that's for Barnes. 01, these two are named identical.
Yeah, 01 is my PC. I mean, I guess the reason it's showing up twice is because, well, I guess it picks up a different IP when I have the...
Yeah, it's picking up a different IP address from the MAC of the hardware.
Well, they're different Macs. So one of these would be when you were connected through the USB Ethernet. The other one was when you're connected by the internal, because they're different MAC addresses. So it's different Ethernet. So this one shows 425 gigabytes. That must be the USB connection. This one, 566 megabytes, is tiny amount of data that's gone through because it doesn't stay connected.
This is what I'm wondering about his router. Does it drive any other wireless? You know, it's not going to interfere, but any other devices in his house?
Yeah, they're shown right here. These three right here.
Although you might want to blur the screen before you click on that.
Say again?
You might want to, if you are going to click on that, you might want to blur the screen because
Yeah,
I don't know what information.
Yeah, I'm not going to click on those. And then this one is a different computer.
Yeah, yeah.
right? Number different. Okay. So let's go back on chat. So did that answer people's question regarding the router? I'm not sure. The question was what router and version. That was the
Yeah,
question.
that was Catherine's question.
Yeah. So did we answer that? What router and version?
Do we have the name of the router and the version? Version.
Is this is the router right here, right? It's called BT Smart Hub.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to blur the screen and click on that to see if it gives us information about that. No, it doesn't. All it does is it highlights everything.
That sounds like the same names here, Home Hub 2000. I just think people, they always talk about Bell. Get a Bell phone, get a Bell this. They just put the sticker on. Here it's SageMaw. They produce all their hardware. But like I say, the Home Hub 2000, anything going up, any service going up past what I have, certainly into fiber optics, they don't use those modems for it anymore.
I can enter that password, Doug, if you need me to.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is see if we get the version number. I'm not sure where Catherine's going with that, but she's always got something up her sleeve. So if we can get, she'll probably be researching that router and version and see if it has these kind of troubles. Of course, that's what she's going to do because she's Catherine.
She probably wants to see what it can take, 1 gig.
Yeah. She might be checking to see what its records are, if it has these troubles, and if it has the capability. So anyway, is this okay to display this, Matthew?
I can't see anything on there that should be.
Because I can blur out specific pieces of information, but I don't see anything there that's a problem.
No, I agree.
All right, so here we go. So she was asking for the device and the version. Does this tell us that? Nope, I don't see any version here. So,
I think this is just the specific device that's connected. Probably have to go back to the home screen to get to the...
So I'm going to blur again, clicking home. Yeah, Catherine confirms what I'm suspecting she's going to do. Status not configured, help, fax wizard, hub light control, broadband performance, smart setup, let me display this, right? This is all good, right?
Yes, fine.
Okay, so here's what we got here from home. I'm thinking, well, could be status to give us version, not configure, or help. Wizards, fax, user guide. That sounds pretty generic. Smart setup, advanced settings, restart the smart hub. Not real obvious where we're going to get version information. Does anyone know how to do that? Tony Wallow with $4.99. Thank you, Tony. The version it says on the back of the BT router. Duh. Well, that's not going to be any updates. That's going to give just a version of the piece of hardware. Can you look at the back of the router, Matthew?
I'd have to go downstairs, but I
it's
could
downstairs? Okay. Well, you know what? That's really going to give Catherine the chance to, she may really be able to nail that this is the source of the trouble. Would that be too much trouble for you to do that?
No, I can do that now.
Okay, go ahead. We will... Somebody's going to entertain us while you're gone. Let's bring back chat onto the video. Yeah, there's my last highlighted. That's why you standalone free install Wi-Fi adapter, fastest speed Teslas. Telstra. Jeff, the link from Wintermute offers the same advice as Tom's hardware. So then the answer to Wintermute is that we have already done that. Jeff, are you saying that we have already done what that link tells us to do? Because I think that we did. We have different versions of the router. I lived in the UK and I had BT, so she's familiar with that. Back of the router, I hate free included ISP. Yes, exactly. The version says on the back. Thank you, Matthew. Here's a page for the specs of the router. Christoph, let me make you a moderator so that you can post that link. You're trying to add a moderator there. I recall seeing you before, I believe. So, Christoph, you should be able to post that link now. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. Maybe try broadband performance test or additional settings. Is that for the version that you're asking that or suggesting that, or you're just throwing out something to try? What are we going on to? My ears are starting to feel the pain.
And how many people have to go up through this at home? Like Carey, I think Carey mentioned, most of these settings are auto. You know,
Well,
you shouldn't have to go through this level of granular changes for people at home. They drive them crazy.
well, my response to that is that this is what you get for being a custom PC builder. Normal people don't do this.
I don't respectfully disagree.
Okay, that's
Netflix?
fine. Elaborate, please. Elaborate, please. I don't mind disagreeing.
At the cable, if you get the right cable, you get the right modem, like you try to upgrade as best you can with the ISP. But if everything's set auto, it should automatically negotiate. You shouldn't have to go through this as a home user to the network level like this.
I
This
agree.
Most of the time, you won't.
Well,
Most of the time, you won't. You have an unusual situation.
You have an unusual
This is-
situation because this is a cutting edge
PC.
network adapter.
no,
This
but-
is going to happen more and more as the faster adapters come out.
Yeah, but this should be this is my point. Like Gary, in your business, you want to throttle things, you want performance, you want, it's a business. But when the home users, the ISP should be ahead of this. The hardware,
They'll charge you more.
No, I don't buy that. I don't think the ISPs can be ahead of cutting edge hardware.
well, they should be familiar with it, if you know what I mean. It shouldn't be a shock when somebody calls up and says, I can't even get the internet.
These are high-paid people you're talking about.
Yeah, well, pardon? But the ISP technical guys are high paid? Is that
Oh,
what
my
you
God,
said?
they're
No, I
geniuses.
wouldn't say
No,
the
they're
tech-
not. That's why they're not going to know this kind of thing.
No, it was a tongue in cheek, right? I missed it.
Yes, it was a
No,
tongue in cheek.
absolutely. But I mean, like I said, they're smartening up. Like, if I wanted a Home Hub 3000 when this was replaced, I said, just go down and get me a 3000. He says, no, that's business. I said, yeah, okay, it's got the UPS. That's going to cost you more. Well, with this conversion here, if I really want to swap everything over, yeah, it cost me the technician's time. But I get the latest modem, the 4000, the corporate model, and I don't pay, just a little bit more rental. Not a lot of money, Gary. Not a lot of difference. They're just abandoning the old hardware. That's
Okay, so we got something to do. We got something here going where we've got the
that's why I asked if it's a consumer board. If it's running 2.5 gig, as a consumer board, it should auto negotiate.
okay.
Mine does.
Okay, let me move on. You've made your point. Let me move on. So Christoph has given us a link for the router, and Matthew has confirmed this is the router in the chat. And there is somebody, let's see, Christoph saying that advanced settings would let you see firmware version of the router. So this is a piece that Catherine was asking for. And then let's get to the router. Get rid of that up there. Fine. Here's home for the router, and then it is advanced settings he's recommending. So I'm going to blur. And Matthew, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. And so looking for firmware version here. All this is okay to display. Agreed, Matthew?
Yeah, that should be fine.
All right. Do we get any version information here for the router firmware? System, maybe? Oh, status. No, that's IPv6 status. Access control, technical log? I don't know. Broadband, VPN. By the time I look to chat, somebody's going to be telling me where to go. Black Watch, don't bite on that. Okay, so Catherine, I told an ISP customer agent wants to change her job, please. I got angry. I've been there, done that. Welcome back. Smart Hub seems to be the most advanced, expensive router they sell. Sam, I spoke to client's ISP once, and that ISP support person did not know what Ethernet was.
Oh, the first line technical support, forget them.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
Forget them.
They're script readers. So anyway, come on. Where do we go get the firmware version? Admin password, backup, restore, factory reset, status, but that's IPv6 status. Technical log. I don't know. It's 6 of one, a half a dozen of another. Technical log. We're blurred. Oh, firmware version. Perfect. Okay, Matthew, is this all okay to show?
Yeah, that should be fine.
All right, here we get our version number. God, just click something, right? That sounds like something Catherine would tell me. Just try each one of them. Firmware version. Here you go, Catherine.
Although you might want to blur the bottom of the screen because it's displaying my the wireless network name.
All right. So if somebody finds your address, they could come over near your house and steal your Ethernet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have gone back to blur, but that was it was displayed. So what I can do, if you need me to, Matthew, is I can go back and edit the video, but then we lose all the chat, and it takes a long time to do.
Actually, I don't think it matters because it didn't show the password on there.
Yeah,
so
it didn't show a password. About the only thing I know that somebody could do is there is a directory that where there's cars that drive all around the world and find where Wi-Fi networks are located. So there's just not going to be somebody here that's got it out for you enough to try to go after you for that. Okay, so let's get off of this page. You know what? I don't need to get. Can I scroll? No, what I can do is, let's see, I'll drag this tab down. So now that Wi-Fi is off the bottom edge of the screen. Still not wanting to do that. How about zooming? There I go. There you go. Does that cover everything?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
All right, bringing it back online. So let's just count that as a practice for how to, something to look for here. So anyway, Catherine, do you have all the information that you need now? And yeah, my picture-in-picture was faulty, Sam, while I had it on blur because I don't use that enough to have adjusted it for the Zoom session. But Catherine, I need to know if you got all the information you need. There's chit chat between Jim and Catherine. I'm not hearing back from Catherine because Catherine never listens to me.
Well, I could say the obvious, she's a woman, you're a man. They don't listen.
It's not their
If she
obligation to
listens, she
listen.
just ignores.
They don't listen. You know the old joke. If
Do
a
I
man
get
says-
demonetized if there's sexist comments on my channel?
Who knows? You know the old joke. If a man is in the middle of a forest and he says something wrong and a woman isn't there to hear him, is he still wrong?
That's good. That's good. I'm not going to add to it, but that's good. All right. So, where do I want to go next? I guess I'll bring up chat back onto the video. Yeah, picture in picture. I responded to that. Chit chat. Catherine knows a bit more about the router. I answered, but I answered. Oh, okay. So it's not that she wasn't listening to me. It's that I wasn't listening to her. Why didn't I see her at 147? Well, that was just 2 minutes ago. I don't know, did she previously answer? Okay, anyway, let's move on. William, if someone wants to break into your Wi-Fi, there are programs that make it easier. The W3A standard should help some of that issue. Yeah, but they still got to get close to your house. And come on, is somebody going to travel, figure out where he lives, travels to his home, so they could get, what, an hour of free Wi-Fi?
Not the free, it's what they're downloading.
Oh, that's right. It's what they're going to download from his systems. Well, now the other thing that Matthew could do is change the SSID of his Wi-Fi.
It's probably his last name, isn't it?
I don't know. But
Don't
anyway, it's pretty excessive to think, unless you're a high value target, it's not going to happen. Come on.
If you're not a government official or a celebrity, nobody cares.
Yeah.
And if you are, you still get away with it.
Get over yourself. Now they do care. They do care. There are, in fact, I was listening to what the Darknet Diaries, is that the right name? Telling the story of a teenager doing ransomware to average individuals for trying to get $200 a pop. And so the low end hackers and ransomware people, they will go after people like you and me, but the odds are really low that you're going to get hit with that because it's not quite rampant yet.
The part that sucks is they leave it on your system for a month before they take it.
Right. So now Christoph is making a good point. I think firmware updates are handled by BT. You cannot update the firmware on the router yourself. That totally makes sense for a recent and advanced router. They should be doing that. They should not. They should stop relying on end users to update firmware. You forgot to read the instruction from Intel. I thought that's been answered. Didn't somebody say that we did do that? I did not. Okay. BH Ringer, scroll up in chat. We have a troll. Give me a time. Look at the timestamps and tell me a time. I'm not going to scroll up through the chat reading every line trying to figure a troll. Give me a time. Turn your timestamps on by clicking the three-dot menu and toggle timestamps.
I'm just wondering, Doug, did you ever put in the Intel driver assistant there?
Have I what?
The Intel driver assistant software. I don't think.
Oh, for Intel to no, we haven't done that yet. So yeah, we should go to the app, but Zvi is wanting me to go read the instructions. How many directions am I going to get pulled? The firmware on the router is newer from your link. What? Oh, that's from Zvi to Catherine. Yeah, I'm not. that's not complete enough of a thought for me to understand if we need to do something. My Netgear could be notification 444. 444 is the time for the troll. 444. So I'll scroll up to 44. Johnny Rocket was timed out by BH Ringer. So I want to see what that is. Can I redisplay that? BH Ringer, I'm going to blur the screen. Can you redisplay that so I can see what that was? Can you unhide that person? As I've said before, I want to be involved with the trolls. Like yesterday, somebody was identified as a troll, and I said, no, that's not a troll. I accept criticism. So I want to see what
Sure
Johnny
you weren't
Rocket is saying.
confused on that?
Say again?
Are you sure you weren't confused on that?
I know I was. I told you I was confused on that. Oh, Sam Van Thiel says click on live chat. Okay, I understood. I'll click on live chat. Does that bring that back up? Oh, top chat. I'm on top chat. So I'll change to, I'll show what I'm doing here. I went up here to top chat and change that to live chat. And that's supposed to make me be able to see that. And I'm only blurring it on the occasion that it is something that I don't want going over. It still shows up as timed out. Oh, here's view deleted message. So maybe that's the bad one. The rest of these were timed out. So these other ones that were timed out, they might not be that bad, but this is the one that the zone deleted. So I'm going to click on this view deleted message so I can see what it is. Yeah, okay, fair that. Now, what I'm going to do is, let's see, I want to go back and delete that again. How do I re-delete that? I can't. So anyway, I'm going to go down to another Johnny Rocket. Nope, I can't get that one. It's trying to display what's the three-dot menu over on the right. I'm going to click on that three-dot menu and then hide user on this channel. That user will never show up again, and anything that they have put in will be gone. Because that was not criticism. That was just vulgar. And then if we get one more, then I'm going to turn on the fence, pull a wall up, or just stay in the live stream. We've been doing this. Well, we want to do that Intel thing, right? So let's go.
Did Catherine post a link to upgrade the firmware of the router itself?
No, I don't think so.
Go back up a little bit.
I don't think you can update the router yourself. I think BT wants to do it.
Yeah, we did have somebody say that you can't, they think you can't do it yourself. And so I'm reluctant to, I'm going to blur because I think that, yeah, that undeleted is still there. But now I'll just go down looking for, you're saying, Catherine says no more. I answered.
3:50 my time. 1:50 your time.
For the link from Catherine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on it right here.
Two oranges there.
I'm on it right here.
Okay, yeah.
Scroll.
So is that saying there's a new firmware version?
Yeah, new firmware version is what she's saying. Okay, great, awesome. Let's go do that. Oh, and then that's what this. I guess I didn't see that one because I did see this one about firmware in the router is newer from your link. So there's a V to Catherine. See, what I didn't understand with that is he's saying the firmware we currently have is newer than what Catherine's link has? Or is he saying that the firmware in Catherine's link is newer than what's in the router? I didn't understand that verbiage, but let's just go find out. I'm on my computer, so I'm not going to make that mistake again. Yeah.
Let me jot that down.
Going to Matthew's computer. And then paste that, enter. Are you sure you want to leave YouTube? Yeah, go to site. Can you tell Susan to stop displaying that to me, Blackwatch? Next time you have coffee with her? Accept all cookies. Manage cookie settings. For the router, I'm kind of inclined to do cookies. Allow it.
Don't worry.
Okay?
Email's been sent.
Email sent to Susan. Thank you.
Okay. Quick, I wrote.
For those who don't know, Blackwatch is very, very close friends with Susan. What her name? What's her name from the YouTube CEO? Okay, so here we get Smart Hub firmware upgrade. BT had firmware upgrade to BT Smart. Wait a minute. What am I looking at here? I'm looking at a chat. I'm looking at some kind of a community.
Yeah, I don't
Firmware
think this is
upgrade.
a download, is it?
New version. Had firmware upgrade. Feel like my connection has been quite unstable since. Seems a bit unstable. See, this could be somebody saying that the firmware on their Smart Hub got upgraded automatically. This doesn't necessarily mean this person did that upgrade.
No, a lot of the current ISPs don't. Verizon doesn't let you update your own. It basically, you have to do a reset of the router, or at least a reboot of the router, and then if there is an update, it goes out at queries, and if there's an update, it will install it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that BT does the same thing.
Yeah.
And
So,
sometimes you have to do a reset while you're doing that.
here's a factory reset of the hub using the reset button. So this would be to get it back to the original firmware.
And here you got to watch it too, because they to reestablish service, you have to have a tech ID to get in, where you didn't before.
All right.
And I won't snitch on the guy, but I got an employee number, and he says try mine. It worked. I just wrote it down. I'm not going to call him out on it. I don't have to get a tech now.
Okay, so 260312 here, 260312, and what we have is 27. So we have newer firmware than what this community was talking about back then.
Right.
So this link was from Catherine. Catherine, am I not seeing something here? I don't see that this is a firmware upgrade for us to do. This is just a community chat room.
And not only that, but he's already got the latest version of firmware on his router.
Yeah, he's got a more recent version than that anyway.
Ooh, tell him what you think.
All right.
I could, but it's a family channel.
Whose family?
Okay, so let's see. Scroll up and chat. Never say never. Calculate the firmware router. New Firmware link. That's 151. Let's see. Go to 151. Looking at click on live chat. Yeah, we dealt with that already. Wi-Fi 6, 500. And Darren's got some. Darren, are you in here? Yeah, Darren's here with us. Was this the Intel installer, Darren?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. And then I'll use that link when we turn to that. Sam Ventil 80 up 15 and no way to download firmware. Better upload for YouTube. Sidely up limit. With all your devices, yes, it'll work. Just leave yourself open. The WPA2 when it comes to hackers. I suppose that's referring to reverting back to the system restore. So Darren, two of them here, are these identical?
Yeah.
All right, so right click, copy link address, because I know better than to go there on my own computer. Paste, enter.
Wouldn't it be funny you install the Intel driver assistant, 5 minutes later everything's fixed?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
Intel support assistant driver. Your Intel drivers and software are up to date.
Scrap that one.
Let's try refresh on the third one down, and just
Third one down.
level. That
On the left, you can
just to your left now. Just says refresh results.
Oh,
That's
all right.
next one down. Next one down. That's it.
on the left,
And it
refresh.
just goes for the whole system.
This one that says save a report.
One
No,
up.
it
One
refresh.
up.
One up. Okay, I think
One
you
up.
had a delay. I was on refresh results when you
That's
told me
it.
to go down one. So, all right, refresh results. So it says at last updated today at 1944. So I click on that.
Now it's checking your computer for any of them on your system. And has it got anything?
Yeah,
Nope.
no, your Intel drivers software up to date. So
It's all.
there hasn't been an update in the last 3 hours. All right. Now, devices and drivers, does it actually mention? Yeah, it actually mentions
For
the
the
network here.
drivers and everything is on there.
Yeah.
Language,
So, no, that didn't help us.
netware, firmware.
Let's see. I'm gonna do Windows key R appwiz.cpl, and we're blurred right now, Matthew. If you didn't realize that, I want to see if let's sort this by name. Intel driver and support assistant is already there, and it was installed September 25th.
Just so Matthew knows, that save a report will be like an HTML. It's going to be about as thorough as any system information going. It'll have everything.
Oh, not about the computer. Okay.
Everything.
Well, I'll just leave that page open, and he can do that if he wants to later. Have we covered all the bases?
I think so. Other than changing the cable and or the router, I don't think there's anything else we can do.
Right.
I would vote. Am I still here? I would vote for the cable first, and then the
It's
router.
in here.
Yeah.
I've noticed something, a little observation I put in the comments. Somebody might have missed it. There's really only one thing wrong with technically minded people. And as soon as modern medicine researchers find out, I'm sure they'll let us know.
All right.
Okay.
That's the joke of the day. Mitch, eat your heart out.
Oh, you just put the same.
Try the cable first at 6, Catherine says. Yeah, I think that's easier thing to. Now, so the Cat 6, I think she's saying, is to buy a
Yeah,
Cat
6 or 6A.
6 or 6.
Amazon. Yeah, Amazon has these really interesting, really thin cables. I've actually started using them here. They're 6A. They're super thin, super
Oh,
flexible.
yes.
Brand new ones, Luke.
They're flat.
Yeah.
Well, no, these
Yeah.
aren't flat. These are not flat.
And I have flat ones.
There are some that are flat, and yeah, that'd be interesting. So that'd be a thing to do. But then again, it goes back. Well, okay, that sounds like a pretty inexpensive way to solve using the integrated Ethernet. But that's all on Matthew. Matthew's purpose in letting us do this video today was he thought it would be an interesting experience to go through. It wasn't so much that he feels a really intense desire to get rid of that USB Ethernet adapter. I
Now,
think
if he's pulling, what is it, 400 plus? He's pulling through that thing.
No, 80
No.
and 80 and 20.
80 down, 20 up. Well, that's what his speed test shows, but when's he ever going to use that?
Well, I'm just talking about the raw speed of the USB adapter. It's probably somewhere in the 400 range, something like that.
Yeah.
Could be
And
10,
it's-
100, 1,000.
I mean, he's not. Yeah, with what he's got for internet speeds, it doesn't matter. Number
Doesn't
one,
matter.
and number two, even if it was 400 megabytes through the actual adapter itself, I've got a gigabyte network here, but my NAS box, those drives can't supply data any faster than maybe 180, 200 megabytes, and that's over a gigabyte network. So he's never
Yeah.
going to have an issue.
How
Okay.
fast is your internet?
My internet's 100 up and down.
You must live out in the Hicks.
I'm sorry?
You live out in the sticks, right?
No, I don't.
Really?
No, I don't. It's just it's been that way for a number of years. Verizon's minimum speed now, I think, is like 200, I want to say. I've just never bothered to call them to see about having them bump me up because they can do it automatically.
And I think it's not that more, I think it's really cheap. At least
I'm
around
on
here.
430 down, 30 up.
Okay, so here I've got an article on screen that Jeff Raymond was reminded or emphasized that we should look at. It's a link that Wintermute provided earlier. And here a number of users are reporting complete loss of network connectivity or similar networking issues. Intel's i225, which is close to ours. Is ours i225?
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly it? Okay. Codename Foxville. Family of 2.5 gigabit per second wired Ethernet controllers. Design flaw that affects performance stability. Ethernet controller i225 is used on a large number of LGA 1200 motherboards for the Comet Lake S processors. This isn't at what we have, but that doesn't mean this doesn't apply to us.
And well, he's dealing with an LGA 1200 board, so that's
Is
all I
he?
need to know. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he has to be 10th and 11th gen or LGA 1200.
Okay. See, well, that's the reason I'm pointing that out, because that's outside of my knowledge area. So thank you that this is what he's using then. All right, great. Explain what's happening and provide the current solution. If you have any of the following hardware, you will be affected. So here's our adapter. And one of these is our board, isn't it? Z490, isn't it?
Yep, Z490.
That's what he's got? Okay. All
And the
right.
Gigabyte.
So this looks like it's totally on target. Sorry guys that I didn't get to that earlier. I know I think I pulled it up and then we got distracted. The issue stems from an irregular internet packet gap in conjunction with the IEEE. That's exactly what I was thinking.
What? You're what?
That's the 2.5.
2.5, yeah, 2.5 base T. Yeah, that's the 2.5 gigabyte.
Well, that's
Gigabit.
IEEE. You're on the right track.
Yeah. Internet packet gap is the time interval between two packets being sent, generally 96-bit times time it takes to transfer, yada, 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 yada. Fine. Intel's network hardware identified significant packet loss, which can reduce the rate by 1 megabits to 10 megabits. From a numerical perspective, packet loss limited generally. It causes very little interruption. It's causing major interruption for us.
Yeah, really.
Very little interruption, but it's certainly not desirable. Intel's internet hardware testing has identified significant packet loss, reduced the data rate. Now, we're not having a data rate reduction, but previously it said complete loss of connectivity, right? Didn't we start out with that?
Yep.
Yeah, complete loss of network connectivity. I'm not going to highlight that because I don't want to lose the highlight I have down here.
I think I'll try the update.
Say again?
I would try the update if there is one.
Yeah, we've already done. I don't think there's going to be an update here. I think there's what they call it here, a workaround solution or something. Issues.
Sounds like it's a design flaw.
This provide the current solution. Yeah, design flaw. So I don't think a driver, any kind of an update is going to do it, because then we don't need this solution. So here's more background. Here's an updated assessment. Here's mitigation with current silicon. So you're going to take a tube of silicon and squeeze it out into what?
Make up, Jim.
The IPG variance is resolvable by GPN user, function properly, full 1 gigabit. Foxville back-to-back system no longer need to be configured, yada yada. Issue resolution. Intel anticipates hardware stepping fix. Big deal. Okay, Intel's response. To get down here, let's get down to it. So how far down does this go? There's the solution. I'm going to triple click that to highlight it. and then get a little awareness of what we got here. Okay, we don't have much more here to go. There's a wrap up. Looks like this piece in here is what we do. And there's a device manager going into those. Uninstall device, restart your system. Oh, come on! We did pitch this earlier. Uninstall the driver and let Windows install
An older driver.
what it will.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
work, all should be resolved.
That
Oh,
would
boy.
not that would not surprise me.
Oh,
You don't
my
always want the new
gosh.
driver.
Yeah, but no, that's not surprising. If the current driver has a problem, then go backwards to generic driver. I mean, how many times have I done that with printers? Haven't had to do it for a long time, but did that a lot. If your hardware matches and your experienced network connection allows performance degradation, don't fret. You don't need a new Ethernet controller, new router. Yay. In our testing, uninstalling existing network Intel drivers from Device Manager, then restarting the system forces Windows to pull the correct driver. Do we need to uninstall the Intel driver installer so it doesn't just redo that?
Well, you might want to,
Yeah.
because if it goes through and it finds that the driver from Microsoft is outdated, it may try to put the new one on.
Yeah,
It's-
I would think so.
It's entirely possible.
I would think so.
I would think I could get rid of all of it.
Yeah, I don't want to get rid of it. Start in the bottom left corner, device manager, select the first option. I don't know why I'm reading this. This is pretty obvious. I just went down to see what it's telling us to do. Once device manager, right click on install, wrap up, number of users experience performance disability until acknowledge the issue. If you have a system with I225, run into issues. It's amazing how much Matthew had done searches for this and been in forums, and none of that took him to this. Let me go back to chat and acknowledge. I think some people have said, it's what I said a long time ago. Javi's in the waiting room. Sorry, Javi. Come here. Here comes Javi Manor into the building. There he is. Hi, Javi.
Hi, you heard me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I send you a link. I wrote to you a link in 44, 45, and you saw it, but you didn't do anything about it.
Well, I'm sorry. I get distracted and pull different directions, and I do know that this has been
The
fire in the
instruction
chat.
the instruction was to update the firmware. After that, to uninstall the driver, power off the computer, and for 30 seconds, then start up again, and then install the last driver.
Okay, so what you're describing there is not contained in the article that I just looked at. So that was from your previous link that you provided, right?
I only provide one link.
I understand that. There's other links going on. The article that I just read through did not have the instructions you just described.
No.
The instructions you just described are in the link that you provided earlier, correct?
From Intel, yes.
Okay. So here, let me go find that. I'm
The-
going to do a Control F.
I will put again in the.
Okay, that's fine.
Just a minute.
Okay.
I have it's Intel.
Look, we're at the workaround on the bottom of the page. So I think that is what I was just looking at. There wasn't one further down. The same suggestion as Tom's Hardware from Jeff. Manufacturer website, install the latest driver from the website. Well, we did that. That didn't work. Device manager show the NIC. Yes. Let Windows update. Find the driver. That's after uninstalling the Intel driver. And then let's see, John O asking ideas for that. I'm not going to get into that. If somebody else is going into that, fine. Restart always better than a shutdown. That way the computer fully power cycles, reinitialize, start up, and shutdown. We'll pull old information about old system state. I disagree with that. I described earlier, when you say restart is always better than a shutdown, not true. If you do shutdown /S to do a full shutdown, that is actually more thorough than a restart because it restarts the hardware at an electrical level. But if you're talking about clicking on the start button and choosing the power and then choosing shutdown, on that instance, restart is better if you have fast startup still configured on your computer, as is by default in Windows 10. So anyway, I went through that earlier, and I'll go through that in more detail. So let's get to this. Right-click on that link, copy link address. I'm going to speak this out loud to where it's in my sleep, that I'm not going to go to that link on my computer again. Paste into Matthews, and then go to site. Susan's doesn't want us to leave again. Okay, so a couple of issues. Resolution, boot to Windows, go to download center, motherboard manufacturer. We've done that. Inside the package, you find the firmware update tool. We did that. Updated 1.45. We did that. After finishing necessary shutdown, unplug the power cord. I buy that because, in fact, that's even more thorough than what I was just describing about shutdown /S. Unplug the power because that takes away the power from the motherboard and causes a more thorough electrical restart. Reboot system normally for more information, firmware upgrades. So this is more instruction that we did not follow through. Update NVM to 1.45. What is NVM? Oh, non-volatile memory. And driver based on the process below. Update non-volatile memory based on the process below. So update NVM to, well, here's the 1.45. So this process gets the NVM updated to that version after going through all that steps correctly, I'm presuming. Shut down the system, turn off power supply, wait 30 seconds, turn on power supply and boot to Windows, device manager. So this part doesn't talk about unplugging the computer. So this note, is that all just step number 3 and then basically redo the same? Inside the package, firmware update tool. The firmware, Intel firmware updated. Can we see the firmware version from Device Manager? The firmware version for that network adapter. Oh. This just gives us the driver version, not the firmware version. Do we get a firmware version somewhere? Only one thing that begins with F. Say again?
I think in general.
General?
Oh, little. Just a moment.
I don't see anything there. How about details? This looks more promising. Driver version, driver date, provider, BIOS device name, BIOS bus. Talk about it being quiet.
Now this can't be as intricate as all this. It can't be.
It can be if the driver is hosed in some fashion.
which is what they're saying. They're saying that
Definitely.
Intel has admitted that.
No, I mean, if the driver, Jim, what I'm saying is, for all the steps that's been gone through, consumer board and everything else, it should come down to the basics, is flushing the driver, like you said, and resetting it. It shouldn't be, it just
I
seems
really,
more steps here than normal, you know, like.
we did see people that reported, remove the driver and let Windows install its driver, and boom, you're done.
Yeah, but we haven't done that.
We haven't done that. This seems a whole lot more intricate.
That's what I'm saying. It should. You should be able to get rid of all the drivers. And this is what I don't understand with Matthew, the order of things. Like he installed the drivers from. Did he ever connect the thing to the internet?
Yes, he did.
And he got the updates from Microsoft.
No.
No.
Well, no.
It
didn't stay connected long enough.
Right.
He did answer that.
Blackwatch?
Again, it's just been so convoluted. It's just.
Yeah, but you're assuming their update is always correct.
That's true.
There's been a lot of even
time an update goes through the system, there can be mistakes.
Yeah, but even Carey's admitted when you're not admitted or testified, whatever you want to say, with the Intel driver system and everything, where the timing takes place. I've noticed that Intel, they get it through before the second Tuesday. They seem to, if it's going to change. So, but the point is, if you're in doubt about Microsoft and you're able to maintain the connection, of course, you do the Intel one, let Microsoft update, then do the Intel again, or flush it out. Like, you don't trust Microsoft's updates. That's what I'm saying.
Well, why is any update accurate the first time? Because here's the catch, is everybody has a different system. Doug may have a different system, you may have a different system, I have a different system. How do you know each one?
That's my point. Microsoft comes through, you get some sort of an issue that is relevant to the timing. So you flush all that out and go to your Intel, whatever the driver site is, install that, and see if it fixes it.
That's just in a business. You don't install that right away.
Well, I'm just trying to follow everything.
I gotta run. Somebody update me later.
All right.
Yeah, let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, let's get this show on the road. I want to just go ahead and uninstall the Intel updater.
Right.
Delete the driver. Let Windows install the driver. Try that method, and then this is just I'm just struggling, and it may be because my brain's starting to turn to mush. But this has just got so much. Ensure that the Intel 1220 firmware should be updated. Okay, where do I ensure that it should be updated? I mean, this is just yeah.
It's rare that firmware updates work to me.
Well, we've already done the firmware. We've already updated the firmware, and then but I can't see any place. It doesn't tell us here how to query what version it's at. And I do buy the part about unplugging the power supply for 30 seconds or more. But then down here it's going back.
Doug, return to the computer management and to the LAN and the details, and the property is the BIOS device name.
Oh, so you found a place to figure out what the...
I think so.
All right, so here's the adapter, and then properties, and then which tab?
In the details, properties,
details.
Go down to BIOS device name.
Yeah, I think I looked at that already. BIOS device name. Yeah, I guess I don't recognize that as a version number though.
I don't see it. I don't see anything.
But like Gary says, get the show on the road, kick the cat.
Yeah.
Flush
So Javi, you said you don't see anything. You do see the screen, don't you? You see the YouTube video?
I see. Yes, I see, but two lines are in blue, but not the BIOS.
Yeah,
device
so we're
name.
not seeing the version number. Okay, so we're gonna go get this on the show on the road here, and let's see. Here I am on Matthew's computer, and what we're gonna do is go to appwiz.cpl. I'm gonna blur because
Now it's okay.
Now, then we're going to go to Intel Driver Support Assistant, uninstall that. Matthew, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. Would you rather keep this screen blurred?
I don't think there's anything
Yeah, I think it's
that needs to
okay.
be blurred.
Okay, so I'm going to unblur this. So we just got the Intel Driver and Support Assistant here, which was installed September 25th, or maybe that was just an update. Uninstalling that, and then we're going to uninstall the driver for the network adapter. We'll let Windows do its Windows 10 install whatever driver it will, and see if we get lucky. And
Lucky 7.
yeah, lucky 7, and then I don't know. I'm still struggling on how to complete through those instructions we had, because I don't know how to get that determined if we have that version number it wanted. It seems like we must have. And then let's bring that down. And how do we have a command prompt? Was that something you were doing, Matthew?
Yeah, I was playing around
All
with
right,
some.
that's fine. Let's get out of that. And then I'll close that down and get rid of that troubleshooting. What else do we have open now? We got a few things open. They're kind of not important. Here we'll get the device manager. And here's that driver. Now I'm going to try a little shortcut because it wouldn't prevent doing the more thorough way, but just
Delete all. Delete file. Oh,
do what?
you missed it. You missed
When you uninstall it, there's an option to remove the software or the files.
Oh. Well, do you think it'll just bring it right back if I do this?
Yeah, refresh it and it'll probably come back.
Refresh.
Refresh?
Well,
Yes,
scan for hardware.
Scan again.
Scan
Yeah,
again.
scan again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
scan
yeah.
again, not refresh. Refresh is just going to redraw the current screen.
Oh, there you go. It's come back.
Did it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's back.
So right click, uninstall. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, it would have been a disaster to fail just for that little change. Now, what if I do a rescan now? Since those files are gone, could it be that Windows 10 will come up with...
It might.
It might. It will
might.
Install again.
Yeah. No. Come back showing the same thing, although is it a different driver? That's, I think we had a 4 in the number before.
Yeah, it's earlier.
That's an earlier driver, yeah.
Yep.
So to kind of do a mishmash of those instructions, my inclination is uninstall the device, do a full shutdown, have Matthew unplug for at least 30 seconds, and then start back up.
And see what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that gets the full power on refresh of the components on that network adapter. It seems a little extreme, but it's easy to do.
Also take out the code, the power code from the computer.
Yes, disconnect the power cord at least 30 seconds. Thank you for adding that. And that's important part. Okay, uninstall device. We'll do that. And then we're gonna have to wrap up pretty quickly.
Check. Ay, check.
What? Did I not
Check
do
mark.
that?
No.
I tell you, my brain's turning to mush. You got to keep watching me.
You sure you know what you're doing?
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm confused. Look what I did there. I went into properties. Well, now you're just distracting me.
Doug,
Uninstall.
bring the six. Doug,
What?
bring the six. Doug.
Oh, bring the 6th Doug in? Okay. Well, hey, we've had mentions of the multiple Dougs on 2 days in a row.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah. I didn't know that went over so well. All right. Now, I did the checkbox. You all saw it.
Okay.
I don't remember doing it because my brain is mush.
Alt F4.
What?
Alt F4.
Alt F4. Okay. So, Matthew, you understand what you're going to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Once it gets shut off. Well, now wait a minute. Let's do this. No, let's do this. Let's do. Because still, even if we get a normal, I don't know if the Alt F4 is going to do a hybrid shutdown or is it going to do full shutdown.
Matthew, just a minute. Matthew, do you have another cable?
I don't know.
No.
No.
All the other computer is wireless.
Oh, it's in a different part of the house, but
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he's got to deal with a different floor. You have to
Because you can connect two cables to the different network now, simultaneously.
Try that again. I didn't.
If he have another code, we can put both code to the network.
With a different,
the
if he had a
USB.
different cable.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed. But he doesn't. And I mean,
Okay.
and it's, if he were to go to that extent, I think he'd have to relocate his computer downstairs or upstairs or something. Which,
Okay.
again, his motivation here was not, it wasn't important to him to fix this. He thought this would make for an interesting video.
It's a very
And he's
interesting.
okay with staying it with the way it is. So and Matthew, thank you for putting up with this so long. I do think it's been fun and interesting and informative. So here I'm doing shutdown /S/T space 3. That makes it take 3 seconds to do a full shutdown to ensure we're not getting a hybrid shutdown. And then you'll go ahead and unplug the power cord, wait at least 30 seconds. Be sure you count that out or watch a clock or something.
okay.
And then plug it back in, try to connect through your internal Ethernet. Whether that works or not, then reconnect with us on Zoom.
Okay.
Actually, my remote connection will reconnect. And but still, go ahead and do the Zoom thing. All
Okay.
right, that's our plan. Here we go. Clicking OK. My ears are hurting. Now,
Doug,
yes.
the command line you type in now, I'm using also /F.
And what does
False.
/F do?
False.
Force.
If
Okay,
something-
it forces close applications.
Yes.
Yeah. Tony Wallow with another $4.99. Thank you so much. We're up to $79.41 for this live stream. Thank you so much. Let's see. You already updated to 145, just says you just haven't killed the power completely. So we are accomplishing that now. Scrolling up to see if there's any more orange. Same suggestion as Tom's Hardware. Thank you, Jeff. And I apologize to you and Javi for not getting to the things that you had sent me to. Look around, work around. Yeah, we did that. Let's see. What else do we have in orange? Jeff, I bet Intel such and such is the same one as window update finds. Probably. Looking for orange, no more orange. Good. Oh, I'm getting tired. So, Javi, what kind of weather do you have in Israel today?
What?
How is the
Can you-
weather in Israel?
Weather. It's hot, but not. We are going to autumn. The temperature is higher. It's about 26 Celsius.
26 Celsius. Okay.
Yes. And what now? What about the political climate?
Oh, no. I wasn't asking about that.
Only the weather.
No. Yeah, only the weather. Not political climate. I am so not interested in that.
COVID is also political.
Well, can be. It might. Well, yeah, it is. There's a lot of political to it. I got upset my chiropractor recently for exposing me and not telling me.
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
No, he went out. I went in for an adjustment on a Thursday, and I called Friday to come in again for a chiropractic adjustment. He told me, oh, he's going to be out for a few weeks. And I assumed he was off on one of his annual hunting trips. So 4 weeks later, I'm on the phone with him. I say, how was your hunting trip? He said, what hunting trip? I said, well, you were gone for 4 weeks. No, that was a COVID. I was sick with COVID. You were gone the day after I was there, and you guys didn't tell me that. He adjusted me face-to-face, no mask. Neither of us had masks. He did an adjustment. Nobody told me. And then I found out he wasn't vaccinated. And he was an objector to vaccinations. And I just blown away. If I knew that, I never would have been there without a mask.
But did you test yourself?
No, I didn't test because I didn't find out about it until 4 weeks after.
Oh, 4 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 weeks. If there was something, he'd have known within the first 2.
Oh, he was tested positive. He was.
I'm talking about you.
Yeah, agreed.
That's a whole lot more serious than the story that I thought you were going to say. I thought if go to chiropractor, he went through exposure. I thought, here goes Joe Biden again. But it turns out
This
now,
guy
see,
this guy better be awfully good, because I'd be finding myself a new chiropractor.
Oh, if he was just a chiropractor to me, yeah, but he's a client. He's a longtime friend. I've had many chiropractors, and he does better than any of them. But I chewed him out about it. Oh,
yes, I mean that I thought you were kidding at first till you got into this. Like, that could challenge friendships and everything today.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I will continue. I will continue to give him a hard time over that. I think it was just stupid. Oh, Matthew in the waiting room. Wake up, Doug. I'd rather go to sleep.
There we go.
There we go. What can you tell us?
I think we have success. I'm plugged into the Ethernet port now, and it's been about 5 minutes, and it's stayed up. So.
Can you see it?
Yes.
You're kidding. After all this and all this technical minds,
we could have just. Oh man.
The simple things first, Doug. The simple things first.
Doug, tell the.
What?
Doug, tell Holzman he owe me $100.
He bet $5. Well, that $5 was about the router.
100.
Oh, $100. He bet $100 that it's the router. We got this fixed without the router.
Yep.
Who did he bet the $100? Who took him up on that?
I don't think anybody actually took him up on it.
Oh,
Don't go to town yet. You got to give it 15, 20 minutes of stability.
all right, well, okay, and we got to get connected. Let's get over here. Oh. Yeah, let's see. I think we have success. Oh, Matthew said up here. Where's bad? Okay, this is Catherine reacting to my exposure thing. Illegal for doctor not to load. They know you that. They might have informed their regular patients. I just walk in the back door without an appointment. So it could be that they went through their records and let people know. I don't know that, but still, they didn't think to let me know. Let's see. It's always simple things. $100 for the bet. What version driver? Much better than mine. We learned a lot along the way. Experimenting was educational and fun. So yeah, I'm not gonna discount that. Okay, so let's go. Let's switch over to where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Oh man. Okay, I gotta get your network adapter on screen to document this. Right click on the network icon in the notification area. Change adapter. Whoops. Yeah, that's right. There are multiple ways to get to this. So here's the USB one. It's disconnected. Here's the integrated Ethernet controller. It's connected. Status. 1 gigabit per second. Duration, almost 6 minutes. We've got numbers going. We've got very responsive. We've got, let's see, we can see the driver version in here as well as device manager. Go to configure.
I'll bet it says 1.02 something.
Driver 1.01.4. That's the one it told us to install, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I
That's
believe it
very
was.
Okay.
So Windows installed that. It does say it's from Intel, so that was an Intel driver provided to Windows, to Microsoft. So that
Over a year ago.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's the newer drivers that had the problem. Driver details. Do we still have it restricted? Power management. Those check marks came back.
In ASUS manufacturer, you have a newer driver.
Jim,
Yes.
remember you took the BIOS and backdated it? I wonder if this is the same thing with this driver.
Well, if the newer driver is like I said, is screwed up in some way, they did
Yeah.
something wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Microsoft onto it. They got the firm one, you know?
Yeah. I had to back rev the BIOS on that one B450 board all the way back to, I think it was 3.5. And it originally had 4.8 on it because I was running a Ryzen 5 3400 at the time.
Yeah.
But now when I put the 2200G in it, it was flaky until I kept going back and I kept going back, and 3.5 is apparently where it finally decided to stabilize.
Well, you have an entry here, Doug. If it's stable, if Matthew can stay on it for about a week and it finishes, somebody can kind of publish something here. Yeah, this is a definitive fix.
Doug,
Well, yes, Shavi.
Doug, I'm thinking that there is a new driver for Windows version 20. Just a moment. 20H2 and up from 25 of January 21.
A new network driver?
Yes.
Why would we want to do that when we have something that's working?
because it's probably fixing something.
It also could break something though, is it?
No, he didn't install the last drive. What drive you installed?
Well, the one I think we
Well-
originally installed was what the package was dated July this year.
Yeah, I think so. From well, we did an install from the motherboard manufacturer. We did an install from Intel, right?
No. In ASUS, you have I can send you a link from the 25 of January 21.
Oh,
It's version one.
I'm
What?
toast. I'm done.
Okay.
We got this working. I'm done.
Yeah, it's working.
We got it
Here's
working.
here's an old axiom from a long time ago when I was an electronics technician. If it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and yes, the newer driver fixes something. Is it something that we care about? Is it something that affects Matthew's computer? We don't know that.
The mechanic's finished. Let the customer take it for a road
We
test.
got something that's working now. And also, as a computer consultant, on my clients, if I got the thing working, I'm done. Especially if it's been like this. I mean, I'll go for the most recent drivers until I discover something's broken. And then if I find one that works, we're going to do it. Now, what I just wanted to come to here is to see if it's gone back to auto negotiation, because previously I had locked it in at 1 gigabit per second. So that's the default for this driver, of course. So I appreciate your the philosophy, Javi, but I'm beat. I'm tired. I don't want to try an update and then find, whoops, that didn't work. Let's go back.
But Matt can download the driver from ASUS and install it.
He could.
I
gonna leave that to him.
recommend it. I agree with Gary that what is not broken, don't fix it. But sometimes you have to do it.
And I don't know that, as far from my seat, this is not one of those times that you have to do it.
Too bad Matthew couldn't trap this driver update, and if it goes wonky again, stop it and override it.
Well, even if the driver installs, all he has to do is right click on, go into the driver, hit the rollback, and it'll go back to the old version.
No, that's true.
Yeah. But right now it's got whatever driver Windows 10 wants to do, and we uninstalled that Intel driver package.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm inclined to think he's not going to get it.
Put a star beside this. The Microsoft Update driver fixed something. It didn't break it. How about that?
Wait a minute. Repeat that, please.
Well, so many people, every time an update goes through, Microsoft broke something.
Yeah.
They fixed it.
Yeah.
Update.
I thought that's what you said. I didn't need you to rephrase it. I wanted you to repeat exactly what you said, because yeah, that was noteworthy.
Yeah.
Where Microsoft actually had the right thing. Ay, caramba. 17 viewers, 15 likes, chat revenue 79.41. Thank you for everybody who has participated in this. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoy our time together. And Matthew, thank you for bringing this experience to us. This was fun and very much worth it. And I think we walk away with a well-earned lesson.
Matthew, we'll get you back at a later date. Don't you worry, bud.
Now, I don't think he was saying we're going to get you back on the show. I think he was saying we're going to get back at you. Is that what that was?
I plead the fifth. It's your
Yeah, you're not going to stand for me clarifying your dig there. Matthew, seriously, I appreciate you bringing this to us, and please come back with anything else you think might be of interest.
Of course. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, one last thing, Matthew. What do you do in life? What stage are you at in life? What's going on for you? Who are you?
Oh, I work in IT, the IT team at a university. So,
Oh, awesome.
We can get over that one.
but
All
I
right.
often have the view with my home devices. If they have a problem, I tend to, because I'm fixing problems all day, I'd
Yeah.
rather just work around it because I'm lazy that way. But,
Work around it and get moving forward. And
Exactly.
we don't have to be, what's the right word? Not altruistic. Be what? Have everything just right? I don't know what the word
But
is.
OCD?
OCD, maybe. I was thinking more along not
Perfectionist?
art perfectionist. Still not the right word. I don't know what the right word is. I'm too faded. I'm too gone. All right. Thank you, everybody, again. Goodbye. Goodbye. Let's click out. Let's say goodbye to everybody. Goodbye in chat.
Bye-bye.
Bye, all.
And I got to figure out what the right mouse is for me to do. Where do I
Yeah.
click to end this thing?
Next week is Windows 11. Whee!
Oh, yeah, I got plans for what to do with that. I'm going to be, I think on October 5th, I'm going to be trying to demonstrate installing it. Okay, we're gone. We're